Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us. We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com. Enjoy the show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Man, snuggle up tight to me, Cubby. It's cold.
Oh, it's chilly. You're right.
We're sharing a microphone today. What do you think about that, so we can stay warm?
Kind of a dream come true for me. Sometimes, I'll admit this, in the summer I crank the air conditioning in here just in hopes that you ask me to do the same thing.
It's like the old days.
It doesn't have to be winter.
In the old days, we used to sit side by side, elbow to elbow, hip to hip, and share the same microphone. That's how we bonded so quickly. All those years ago. Welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show. I want you to know, Josh, that if I die, you can use my body as shelter from the cold. So you can live on.
Just like in The Empire Strikes Back.
Nutrients. You'll need nutrients. You can eat me as well, if you like. You can eat me. If we make it to 7:30 this morning, world-class entertainer C Willi Myles says he's going to swing by and say hello. And we always enjoy a visit from C Willi. Cold morning. One of the coldest of the winter so far, from what I understand. But we're pretty tough around here.
Minnesotans can handle it.
We've made it through cold weather many times before, our whole lives, for Pete's sake. Folks outside of Minnesota, folks outside the Midwest, really, they want to know what makes us tick, how and why we do what we do. Josh, being a born and bred, tried and true Midwesterner, do you want to try and field some of these online questions about how and why Midwesterners operate?
I'll do my best. I'll probably need help from the rest of you.
They're curious about us. I think you'd make a great representative. Folks from outside this general area, they want to know how it is and why it is. Try and answer this one for me, Josh, for them. Why do all Midwesterners end phone calls the same way? And their example is, instead of just saying bye, why do we say bye-bye?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Well, I haven't heard that in a while, actually.
My sister says bye.
Does she say bye?
Drives me nuts.
I don't hear that one much, but my fiance and my mom, every time they get off the phone, they go, bye. Why do you got to go beforehand?
Do you know, I know people who they speed up as the conversation is about to end.
Yeah, sure. I can hear that in my head.
There's a few where I can, and to the point where I'm very aware of it, and I try not to do the same thing. But my instinct is to speed up at the very end of the conversation. Talk to you later. Bye.
No, that's a thing as well. A lot of us do say bye-bye. Sure, some folks say bye.
See,
like,
I'm not
like
gonna
Ashley was describing.
I don't travel, and so sometimes when people mention why is this a Midwestern thing, I didn't realize it was a Midwestern thing.
Right.
That's just how it is around here, and I assumed maybe it was the same other places. Like the first time someone said, "What is pop?" Well, what do you mean? Like pop, cold?
It's pop.
I don't understand.
Oh,
people are like, well, you're the only place that says, or a gray duck instead of goose. Supposedly Minnesota's the only place that says that.
You, in those initial conversations, you weren't aware that it was...
I had no idea.
Sure, fair enough. The bye-bye thing, I don't know.
This is the first time I've ever heard that's a Midwestern thing.
Okay. Sort of related, and I'm sure you know folks who go this route. It's just a glitch. It's just a habit, a quirk. Instead of just saying no, I know quite a few people who say, no, Well, you had me the first time. When you said no, I understood. You didn't have to piggyback an on there as well. You don't know any no people?
I think I do that sometimes.
You think you do that?
Yeah.
I definitely do that.
Ask me if I do.
Josh, are you Are you the type of guy that says no,
No.
You almost made it.
Yeah.
You almost made it.
I didn't think I was.
I first noticed it with a girl that I dated many, many, many years ago. No, And then, kind of like you, Josh, once I was made aware of this little quirk, I heard it everywhere. And it still kind of irks me. It really does.
And that's a Midwestern thing?
I'm not saying that. I mean, the article, the article did not say that.
Okay. Yeah.
But as an aside, I was just pointing out another little quirk like bye-bye.
Oh, here's a good one from the Brother and Sisterhood. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm very guilty of that.
You say
I can't
no
stop.
quite a bit.
Sure. That is, okay, why do all Midwesterners go outside when there's a tornado?
Oh, I love doing that.
Yeah, me too. It's fun.
I think that's not a Midwestern thing.
It's not?
No, not at all. I mean, think of how many tornado videos you've seen from Tornado Alley. That's because everybody has a phone now. Everybody's out there videoing that thing.
I love any type of storm.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make this sound like it was a Minnesota thing. It's a Midwestern thing. Wait a minute. Isn't Tornado Alley part of the Midwest, like Kansas? That's not the Midwest?
There's a whole section of the country that has tornadoes like that. So no, it's not. I mean, I'm going to argue that the only place people are going to go out to see a tornado are places that have tornadoes. So maybe that's more common than that area, but I can't imagine that's just a typical Midwestern thing.
Okay. Well, in the article here, there are responses from Midwesterners, and one of them on the question, why do all Midwesterners go outside when there's a tornado? This individual says, simply put, it's a rush. There's something terrifying and simultaneously thrilling about watching a storm roll in. No question.
Well, anytime there's a hurricane, you see that old video of the guy headbanging, long hair, holding the American flag in the middle of the hurricane.
Oh, yeah.
Any weather event, you're going to get people out there.
I've only seen one real deal tornado. Certainly seen, like the rest of us, plenty of ominous-looking skies, and the sirens are blaring, and you're looking for it. You're looking all over, running to different parts of your neighborhood to see if you can see it coming. But I've only seen one in my 53 years, and it was in Canada.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Have you guys ever seen a real deal tornado? Swirling, beautiful cylinder?
Yes.
Yeah, one came down next to my neighbor's house one time. That was
and you
freaky.
saw the tornado come down like in those terrible movies.
Yeah, it was a little tiny one.
I was with
a little tiny one.
A former intern at Valley Fair. Teen Anderthal and I were at Valley Fair, and they kicked everybody out. Tornadoes are coming.
I remember when you took. There were a lot of questions in the building when you, as a grown man, took a teenage boy on a date to Valley Fair.
we went on a lot of dates.
Yeah. I remember that the two of you went to Valley Fair because you were like his Big Brother character. Like the Big Brother, Little Brother program.
That's so sweet.
There was so much talk, and I made it obvious that I was grooming him. But not one person just picked up on it. I'm like, yes, I'm grooming him.
Right. I remember you guys went to Valley Fair, and if you're up on those rides, you can see for miles. So is that where you saw this storm coming?
No, when we were leaving. So they kicked us out before it got there. But when we were, it was a long line to get out because everybody had to get out at the same time. And so as soon as we were leaving, we could see, it looked like there was two kind of over in the distance there.
I'm surprised they made you leave the parking lot, not just go get in your car for a while. There's a storm warning. So just get the hell out of here.
I guess I don't remember if they made us leave the parking lot. They made us leave the park, so we just got in the car.
Oh, you were. Yeah, I mean, the real deal tornado that I saw coming down in Canada, I mean, it was beautiful, scary, but it was so perfectly shaped. I mean, I got real lucky. If you're going to see one tornado, I saw a pretty one. It never reached the ground, but I remember all of us standing on the dock at this resort in Canada and watching this big sumbitch start to slowly cruise down. Okay. People asking about Midwesterners. Yes.
Didn't you guys have to get out of Ham Lake or something because a tornado was behind you?
Yeah, but it was
dark.
Pitch black.
We couldn't see it.
Okay.
Yeah, I never saw that one.
That was the closest I ever came to death from any weather here in Minnesota.
Me too.
All right. People asking about us whack-bag Midwesterners and how and why we operate. Why do Midwesterners have the urge to sit in a driveway? Pardon me. Why do most Midwesterners have the urge to sit in their driveway in a folding chair? I don't know, but I do it, or I used to do it all the time. My new house isn't quite perfectly set up for that, but my old house was, and I love just to sit in my driveway in a lawn chair with a cooler next to me and watch the world go by.
Yeah, it's usually the garage.
Yeah, there's something peaceful about it.
Garage.
King of the Hill, they'd stand out by the fence there.
They sure did.
Right by the trash.
One year on Independence Day, I drug my old house was right on a busy highway. And on Independence Day, I felt like being very patriotic, so I drugged my lawn chair to the very edge of my driveway, which of course was right upon this busy highway. I had my cooler, and I had a tiny little American flag, and I sat at the end of my driveway in that lawn chair and waved the flag as traffic went by while drinking a beer. And I thought it was just the most American thing I could have done in that moment.
That's pretty cool.
And people were honking. They thought I was, by God, Uncle Sam. This one took me a while. And then it dawned on me, oh my damn, at least in my hometown, this is a thing. Speaking of chairs, why do Midwesterners like to take pictures in giant, oversized wooden chairs?
That is fun.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we just did that a few months ago, over the summer.
At first I thought, what are they talking about? And then, every town seems to have an oversized wooden chair placed on the main drag somewhere, and then we sit in the stupid thing and take a picture.
If I can find that.
Every time you see one, too, you're like, oh, look it. There's a big, ginormous chair.
Right.
Should we get out of the car and get a picture?
Why is that?
The article says it's tacky. We know that. These are Midwesterners speaking now. But weird giant oddities always amuse us.
Oh, here we go.
What do you got?
This is the picture we took over the summer.
That's you sitting in a big oversized chair. No, that's my godson sitting in an. Why did you take the picture of him sitting in an oversized chair?
It was just, we were walking the dog with the big kids in St. Paul. We saw this thing and wanted to get up and sit on it because he's a Midwesterner.
Why do we do it? No one can figure it out.
Why is it there?
Yeah, why is it there? And why do we
That's a real question, Josh.
Look at the size of this thing.
It's massive.
Huge.
It's the biggest wooden
That's
chair
huge.
I've ever seen.
That's bigger than normal chairs.
This one, you hear this all the time. We have a regular fridge in the house and then one in the garage. It's for beer drinking. I mean, that's just...
We used our second fridge growing up for all the milk that we drank.
Milk.
I tried before that, and then I said, screw it, I'm just going to say it.
And this was in the garage or in the basement?
In the basement.
Yeah, see, you got to have one in the kitchen, one in the basement, one in the garage.
Oh, and the
love
one in the
that.
garage is so old, but it gets the coldest drinks out of there. It's awesome.
We just have the one in the basement and obviously the kitchen.
Here's a Midwesterner answering that question. Why do we have so many friggin' refrigerators? Why is there always one in the garage? And this Midwesterner says it's pretty easy. The closer you are to beer, the closer you are to heaven.
I feel like I could get in some trouble for this, but I have some contraband in our basement fridge.
Oh, what do you got?
I bought a friend some of those druggy seltzers.
Drug-y seltzers?
Those THC seltzers.
You mean the ones that are legally sold in stores?
Yeah, for druggies.
Okay.
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah.
I got him some of those.
They're illegal?
That's nice of you.
No,
Oh.
to me they feel illegal.
Okay, I know nothing
I feel like
about-
I'm doing something wrong. Although
Yeah,
I mean, there's
you don't
there's
often
restaurants. Oh, never. I never keep anything.
No alcohol in your house.
No, and not because we're against it. We just don't
Right.
drink it. But I do feel weird even buying it because it's never been something I've really done. But restaurants serve that now.
Yeah.
And you can have it delivered. At one place by us. I hope that's legal. If not, I just outed them.
I'm so behind on this movement. I am. Why do Midwesterners feel the need to do fireworks every day of the summer and not just on Independence Day?
If you want the answer to that, I could ask two of my neighbors. I mean, they apparently have a line item in their budget for fireworks because not only is it every weekend, it's every kind of firework you can imagine.
That would take me off every weekend.
It's just we have limited opportunities to do such things, so.
Yeah, there's like 6 nice days of the summer. You might as well light some fireworks.
And when you go spend a pile, at least this was my experience. Every time I've gone to the illegal fireworks shop in Wisconsin, I overdo it.
You have to.
And I think to myself, I wonder if we have enough, right?
It's not your fault because it's always buy one, get 2 free.
True.
Yeah.
True. And I always drive away thinking, well, this is not enough. And then, an hour's worth of fireworks is a lot of friggin' fireworks. You know what I'm talking about?
There's a video on 93x.com right now of a road rage fireworks fight where one car is shooting fireworks at an unarmed vehicle. Some lady just trying to go about her day.
Shooting bottle rockets?
Roman candles.
Oh, sure. So it's like, for me personally, when I used to go buy piles of fireworks, towards the end of the summer, you find that you still have a massive arsenal in the garage, and you got to get rid of it before winter, so you end up putting on a show for about 2 weeks straight. Why do we Midwesterners struggle with the concept of sunscreen? I just wasn't. Good question. I never heard of it until I was 20 years old.
My mom would basically grab a paint roller and put that on us as kids.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom, too.
Our folks never. I had no idea. I thought there was suntan lotion, and that was the end of it. I had no idea there was such a thing as sunscreen, and I would just turn myself into a herpy every summer. And my friends finally said something like, you should wear sunscreen. And I said, sun what? Mm-hmm. So it was just another example of where our folks just didn't tell us about it.
Yeah, I would wipe it off.
They may have not known about it. That's how simple of people they are. You didn't like
I hate it. I just don't like that feeling.
Back to that
and
lotion.
My mom would she just makes sure we were covered in that stuff. Thanks for trying to protect us, Mom.
So you were at least protected.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we say goodbye forever. We know that one.
Yeah, the Minnesota goodbye, that is a very real thing.
It's miserable.
Oh, God, it's painful.
It's miserable. I hate it every time. Just get the hell out of here. We heard you say goodbye the first time. No, don't turn around with another fresh story or some idea for plans 2 weeks from now. Just go. You said goodbye. Go.
I had this situation yesterday because we said goodbye inside because you know how cold it was. We walk outside and realized we parked right next to each other. So we had another quick goodbye at that point.
You and I?
No. Yesterday, this happened to me yesterday with somebody else.
Oh, the double.
I hate that part.
A basketball game.
The double goodbye.
When it's cold out, gosh, that'll make me mad.
It's like, oh, this person, we're going in the same direction. Oh, no, they parked right next to me.
It's not a toughness contest, so why do Midwesterners feel the need to hold off turning on their heat? I never do. You guys can go ahead and play that game. I love the heat, so.
Yeah, I just don't like it. It's not just to show how badass I am that I can handle it. But.
Yeah, it costs money, so I'd prefer not to.
True that, girl.
People from all around America are wondering what makes Midwesterners tick, so we're trying to field all the questions that they have. This one's very funny. Now, this came from a Midwesterner who put together a series of pictures, and they titled it Small Town Midwest Starter Pack. So these are 4 sure things you're going to find in any Midwest small town. Okay? First picture is that of a Dollar General store on the edge of town.
Yep.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Second is a picture of the historic downtown. Welcome to historic downtown. Even if it's garbage, yes, these are the old buildings. Yes, this is the main strip from 1805 when the town was founded. But they all try to brag about their historic downtown. Some are beautiful. Some are garbage. But they'll always put that historic title up there so you go, oh, wow, what else is there in the Midwest small town starter pack? There's a picture here of the random gravel pit. Sure. Every small town around here has a random gravel pit where they've been working on something for years and they haven't figured it out yet. And finally, the one fast food spot And it's always a Subway.
Yeah, and you know what? I was going to say the two things I've always noticed is Subway and usually a Dairy Queen.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cute. I was up at the North Shore not too long ago, and I pointed that out. Like, oh, there's a Subway, and then if you go right up the street, there you'll find the Dairy Queen. Those are your two options.
It's almost every single small town. Oh, geez, Jesus said, it's not a Minnesota goodbye unless half your body is out the door and the other person is still talking. How about this one from CFH bass player Jesus? Wearing shorts all year round.
Yeah,
But a sweatshirt or many layers to make up for the cold. Yeah.
I don't get into that. I've never done that.
I saw a motorcyclist the other day, and not when it was like in the 40s. It was when it was kind of cold a week or two ago.
Did he just get out of prison and he never stored his bike for the winter or something?
I'm not sure.
That's crazy.
He was wearing a prison outfit, and there were a bunch of cops chasing him.
Oh, my God.
I left that part of the story out.
I've never gotten into the look I'm wearing shorts and it's 20 below gimmick. I got to be honest with you. I've always been really annoyed by that.
Oh,
I'm a tough guy.
Yeah.
I
And it
can
wasn't
handle
a tough guy. I love wearing shorts, so I would wear shorts.
Oh, no, not you, obviously. We know
Indoor and
you,
outdoor,
but there are
doesn't matter.
characters who are like, they almost wait for that coldest day of the winter, and then they walk out of the bar with the short. Oh, am I wearing shorts? I didn't even know. Yes, you do. You're trying to do it. You're doing a bit. We get it.
You know
tough.
you're cold.
Right.
Look at me. I got sandals on, too. I'm doubling down.
I like to show my calf tattoos.
You do have very nice calf tattoos
It'd
and
be a
calves.
shame to cover those up with some Levi's.
There was a guy who used to work here whose calves and legs were all tattooed, and that was the number one. He even told me.
Did he tell you that?
Oh, yeah, because
we always suspected.
Finally, I snapped at him, and I said, dude, will you knock it off with this shorts? It's 25 below. I said, what are you trying to prove? And he flat out told me, he said, I spent a lot of money on these tattoos on my legs. I'm going to show them off. And I said, okay, fair enough. Two more questions here about us Midwesterners from folks who don't know. Why do we love to post about winter all the time like we've never experienced such a phenomenon before? I don't have the answer to that, but that's also annoying.
Well, talking about weather, I mean, that's a huge thing around here.
Yeah.
I've
Talking
heard
about
people
it.
say, and places like California, it's the same all the time, right? Outside of tragedies. But people say that weathermen in Minnesota are celebrities. In other states, it's not quite like that.
But why do we have to post it? Hey, look, it snowed in my backyard. I don't know. And finally, why does it seem that every person in the Midwest is required to have at least one piece of camo apparel? Yeah, I don't know.
Hunting.
I got into it for a while. I'd like to wear. I had camo shorts and camo pants.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I thought it was a cool look on me, but then I
liked it too.
I ditched it.
Camo goes with everything.
And I told you before, I used to have a camo Minnesota Wild hat that I got at a game. They're handing it out to support the military, and I had to stop because I kept thinking, I'm a part of stolen valor here because I had two old guys ask where I served. And it was so uncomfortable.
No, the XL Energy Center?
Did you tell them the Good Earth?
That's right. That's exactly. I was like, well, at Good Earth, there was an Italian joint I worked at for a couple of days.
Oh.
The one bit I'm super sick of is whenever I wear camo and somebody's like, oh my gosh, what happened to your torso? I can only see your legs. Shut up.
That
Shut
bit,
up.
yeah, stop that bit.
Can I be honest with you? That's hilarious.
You like that bit?
A lot. I've never used it, and this is the first time I'm hearing it. That's very funny.
You've never heard that before?
No.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's one of
that
the
you think
oldest
it's funny
jokes
then.
in the world.
I can't believe I've never heard that.
It kind of reminds me of the John Cena thing. Like, oh, you could see him?
That camo joke's good. So it's old, so if I use
Oh,
it,
yeah.
people are going to be annoyed?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
sorry,
definitely.
Josh, but yeah, it's been buried. It's been just used to death.
Well, a
Your
little
new
kid
joke
might-
is very tired, Josh.
A little kid might appreciate it. I'm going to get them I was going to say I'm going to get them while they're young, but that's going to be bad and taken out of context.
You're just hearing a story about you going to Valley Fair.
Right.
I hear you, Josh. Yeah, if the kid's going to have to be pretty young, because you're the only guy in town who hasn't been bothered by that joke.
Well, dang it. I'll try and not like it by the end of today, but right now I love it. It's so stupid. It's great.
You're going to be thinking about it all day.
Hey, thank you, Box Tossin' Jesus. He likes that bit, too.
Where'd your legs go? Where'd my legs go?
It always takes me a second, too.
Camouflage pants. What time is it?
What time is it?
It is
6:05.
6:05.
We should get going. We Midwesterners, yeah, we're a little different, but we have a good time. We have a good effing time. C Willi Myles, not a Midwesterner.
He is now. We've adopted him. I mean, he's been here a long,
Let's
long
ask
time.
him if he considers himself a Midwesterner, because he grew up in Alabama, came up here to go to college.
Yep.
Let's ask him later, if I can remember, if he considers himself a Midwesterner or if he still considers himself a Southerner.
You know, I could see it going either way. I mean, he's been here so long by choice. You know, he loves it here.
Yes, he does.
But at the same time, he hates the winters and hates the cold. And he told us when he first moved here, he was upset because wasn't he recruited? I thought they came after him, like St. Cloud State, to play football.
That sounds right, yes.
And I remember he had said he was upset that nobody warned him about the cold.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's a rude awakening. See Willi Myles going to duck in later. Around the same time we talk with Randy Shaver at 7:30. We'll take a break. Going to be a cold day, but we're built for it. We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
The Bigger Pockets Podcast Network is your home, get it, for real estate investing.
I am very tired of people saying that your primary residence is not an investment.
Get real talk from real estate pros about investing strategies that work.
I bought a house for $1 and it makes me $1 million.
You can become a real estate millionaire over the course of like 5 or 6 years.
No one needs a stock. No one needs cryptocurrency. They need a house.
Bigger Pockets. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
You know, we were talking a few minutes ago about being Midwesterners, Minnesotans, Midwesterners, whatever. Folks from outside the area, they don't get us. And every once in a while, they have a series of questions. Why do we do this? Why do we do that? Why do we have multiple fridges, one of them in the garage? Things like that. We were trying to answer the questions best we could. Got a couple text messages on Midwestern cliches, I would imagine. Here's one that says this, Cubby. You know you're in a small Midwestern town when you see a sign at the city limits mentioning the town being the 1984 state football champions.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like that.
That's always kind of cool. I like that. Oh, wow, 1974, you guys were the state wrestling champs? Wow, I do. I get a kick out of that.
Yeah, me too.
I just thought of one when we had a boss move here from the South, Scott Flameson. He had asked, why does everyone own a cabin here? Why is everyone going up north all the time?
And going up north, that doesn't always necessarily mean that they're going north.
And he mentioned that too. He's like, wait a minute, I thought that was straight west. I'm like, well, yeah, you still say going up north.
And I never thought about this. Of course, we talked about tornadoes. One of the questions fired our way as Midwesterners, one of the questions from an outsider was, why do we always go outside when there's a tornado? Well, it's a fascination, of course. A listener pointed out something that didn't dawn on me right away, Josh. Tornadoes, tornadoes are cones, man.
They're spinning cones.
And speaking of this here general area, it is a breath of fresh air for me personally to be able to report a local story to lead off today's Stupid News segment. Obviously, it means that someone did something really stupid around here, but I can live with that. I just get so burned out on those bastards from effing England and, by God, China. And from an editing standpoint, Josh, I can coast through a Minnesota story because I speak the language.
It is difficult if something's written in the UK, trying to figure out, well, what is that?
This just feels so good.
Like how they call a fight, is it pronounced row?
I've seen that printed before, sure.
I had to look that up. Or instead of a trunk of a vehicle, a boot.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Instead of a windshield, what do they say?
Oh, something's windscreen?
Windscreen. So I appreciate this a lot. This feels good to be right here in the state of Minnesota for our very first little stupid news adventure of the day. We're going up north, a little township north of Duluth by the name of Friedenberg. And this ain't right. This is sad and pathetic, is what this is right here. Some lowlife bastard up there in Friedenberg got himself charged with first-degree arson. He allegedly is how you say it. He allegedly lit somebody's damn cabin afire this past September. Says here it was a cabin owned by the Boy Scouts that he lit up. Luckily, there were no kids or anybody else there at the time. Effing Boy Scouts. Those kids are pimps. Tell the Boy Scouts we said hello. Except for that one kid years back who took my $25 and then never delivered the Christmas wreath that he promised me.
You're still bitter about that.
Of course I'm bitter about that. $25 is $25. That kid would be about 30 by now. He was crooked. The rest of the Boy Scouts are pimps.
2 years ago, we ordered 3 of them, and they're not cheap anymore. We got one for ourselves and then one for my mom and mother-in-law, and they showed up dead.
Oh, no.
The Boy Scouts. Dropped off 3 dead boys. The wreaths were all dead.
I'll tell you, Josh, things are tough all over. So, anyway, dude up in the middle of nowheres by Duluth, he lit somebody's cabin on fire. The cabin belonged to the Boy Scouts. The local cops rolled up on the scene of the fire. The local fire department was in the process of putting her out. And they said that they smelled gasoline coming off the joint. Later that same day, about 3 miles away from where the cabin burned down to the ground, the cops ran into what they call here a lost hiker. And this so-called lost hiker was toting a gas can. And he said, when the cop asked him, what are you doing with the... He said that he, quote, wanted to start a fire but had gotten lost, whatever the hell that means. Now, I can't be 100% sure here, but it sounds like the lost hiker wasn't asked any more questions then and there and was free to go.
Okay.
But a couple weeks later, the cops questioned him further. Now, why the cops didn't press the dude harder on the day of the fire, I have no idea. Here's a guy walking aimlessly around the area, carrying a gas can 3 miles away from where a cabin burned down. But I'm not a cop, so F me. What are you doing with that gas can? Well, I wanted to start a fire, but then I got lost.
Well, all right. Carry on.
So the second time the cops talked to the lost hiker, otherwise known as a shady drifter derelict, in my opinion, he denied ever carrying a gas can in the first place. Eventually, the dude cracked and told the cops that he, quote, accidentally did something bad.
Oh, creepy.
He confessed that he dumped gasoline inside the Boy Scouts' cabin, and then he panicked when it, quote, went up in flames. I like how he tries to make it sound like the fire ignited on its own. Poured some gasoline in there, and then it just went up in flames. Well, there must have been another step in there somewhere.
That was a very lawyery answer, wasn't it?
Yes. Oh, and it says here that once the fire began to burn, derelict asked there, said that he did try to put it out. He did. He tried to, quote, dump a beer on it.
One sip for me, little pour for you.
A single can of beer couldn't stop it, huh? Numbnuts told the cops that he couldn't remember why he did it. He says he was blacked out at the time and only remembers bits and pieces. Nice work, stupid. He's getting ready to do about a 20-year stretch in prison now.
That's a good length of time. You must have some sort of record, I would think.
You've heard about it over and over again. They call it the Mile High Club. Josh and I have always believed that 99 out of 100 people who say that they've had sex in an airplane bathroom are lying.
I don't know why you would want to.
There's not
Way
enough
too
room.
small.
Yeah.
Folks like to talk a big game. 99 out of 100. Like you said, those bathrooms are so effing small. It's one of the world's most common BS stories.
A lot of people claim it.
Yeah.
But yeah, barely anybody's really done it.
And I don't know about you guys, but every time I'm on a plane, I'm pretty well aware of like how many people are using the restroom, I guess. It's kind of one of those things you just notice because why are you standing up? Oh, that person's going to have to wait in line because the other person just went over there.
Oh, I guess I don't really pay as much attention as you do.
Yeah, I always notice.
So I'm missing your point. So you're saying you would never go try to have sex in an airplane bathroom because it's busy? Or I don't know
Because
what you mean.
people would notice. People would notice.
Oh,
yeah.
people would notice.
Easily.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. You and your, you got a fiance now or something?
Yep.
Yeah, if the two of you go in there, everyone knows what the hell you're doing in there. And I know the idea is to stagger the gimmick. Yeah.
Especially because usually on every airplane I've ever been on, it's like rows of 3. So the other person that's in the row is going to be like, what the heck? Why are both of them gone?
I like sex just as much as the next person, but I don't feel the need to pull my gear out where some dude just had a week's worth of diarrhea after a vacation in Matzalan. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When I'm on an airplane, my sole mission is to get off that airplane as soon as possible. I'm not thinking about anything else. I just want to be done with that ride.
True.
I'd be down.
You're going to bang in an airplane?
Given the opportunity, why not?
Now, sex in a hot air balloon. Let's go that way real quick.
That'd be fun.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I took too big of a hit. I knew it. Sex in a hot air balloon. I guess it does offer you a little more space for smashing gear, but what do you do about the captain guy?
I was just going to say, about that dude that's standing there holding the thing.
I forgot about that dude.
And flipping the switches and whatnot, whatever you do when you captain a... unless, of course, the hot air balloon captain, what if he wants you and your partner to get it on? And hoard. Now, this here is being called a unique Valentine's Day idea, and I've heard of this kind of thing afore. I have, and you likely have too. CNN recently did a story on a hot air balloon company in California that lets you join the Mile High Club.
There's airplanes that do the same. I asked my wife if she'd do this. She said no. And then I begged.
With you or with just in general?
I guess I thought it was inferred that it was me. She was not interested whatsoever in getting up in a hot air balloon and doing that. She doesn't like heights.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah, me too. I don't like being way the hell up there. CNN recently did a story on a hot air balloon company that'll let you fold each other in half in their hot air balloon basket. The company is called Magical Adventure Balloon Rides.
Sounds like a hell of a ride.
Like, say, if you haul your ungrateful wife up to that hot air balloon basket, the two of you won't have to hide what you're doing to each other. Because the captain is in on the bit. They call this setup the Mile High Flight because they know you're there to bump. The pilot, he's behind a screen with earmuffs on to give you some privacy. For Christ's sake, I apologize, but that is so effing odd and stupid. What couple needs this? I'm all for trying something new now and again, but this is just straight up dumb.
Yeah, you're weird for this.
So here's the deal. Their balloon rides normally go, on up to around 3,000 feet in the air, but their Mile High Bang the Wife Valentine's Day bit, that goes to over 5,000 feet to give you what they call the full experience. Great. Now I'm not only uncomfortable, but I'm also terrified. We're 5,000 feet in the air.
And the guy who's supposed to be wearing the blindfold is clearly cranking it. He's watching.
Well, he can still hear everything, too.
No, he's wearing
got
earmuffs.
Oh, yeah, I
he's
forgot
got
about
the
that
noise-canceling headphones.
Noise-canceling headphones. And he's not cranking it.
He's a professional.
He is a professional aeronautical
balloonist. Yeah, he probably cleared the cannon beforehand just to avoid anything like that.
I believe that would make you lightheaded if you orgasmed that high up in the air. That just seems not that enjoyable. I don't know. It just seems like something would feel off about that.
I'm lightheaded when I organize?
Orgasm.
Right here on planet Earth, but that's probably an age-related thing.
Had that happen.
I don't know. 5,000 feet, does that make you dizzy? I don't know how that works. But, Ashley, you're probably right. The whole flight is 3 hours long. For 2 passengers, they want about $1,400 in trade.
Few people are texting in saying that'd be cold AF to be that high up.
Is it cold up there?
Didn't think of that, yeah.
I don't know anything about 5,000 feet. If you're into blazing hot group action, you can bring a third person up on the balloon ride for an extra $159, or a fourth person for an extra $159. They say the basket fits up to 10 people, but you're going to have to be ready for a lot of stand-up doggy-style action because the basket isn't big enough for you and all your pot-bellied lovers to lay down in the damn thing.
That is pretty cheap.
Somebody put a stop to this.
Well, cheap to add on. You think $1,400 is cheap? That seems kind of expensive.
I think that's pretty cheap, just because I've looked into how much it is to do that, and it's usually in the 500s. So, $1,000 to bang up there. That's not too bad. I know. I mean, on top of what a regular hot air balloon would be.
Oh, kind of seems like you're changing your mind.
No, those sketch me out a little bit. There was a TV show I watched growing up, and it was some stupid cartoon, but the girl got swept away in a hot air balloon and never came back, and it's just burned into my memory.
A girl went up in a hot air balloon and never came back.
Yeah, it was
Where'd they find her?
I don't know if they ever found her. I can't remember.
Well, she had to hit the ground at one point or another.
It was some stupid, Amazing Amanda, some crappy TV show I used to watch, and I just...
Oh, so it didn't really happen?
No.
Oh.
No, I just specifically remember, that's not safe. I don't like that.
Well, not too long ago, that hot air balloon crashed into the radio tower.
I don't know that story.
Yeah, there's been some bad news there.
I don't know that story.
Air filter Jesus, he isn't buying it. He said, "Yeah, I'm sure that guy piloting the hot air balloon keeps on his headphones. He's got the headphones off. He's peeking at the couple, and his pants are around his ankles, hog in hand. Give me a break."
Oh, he's cranking.
He's cranking.
I just can't imagine. Let's assume that the pilot really does behave himself. Still, I can't imagine having sex with someone while some dork hot air balloon pilot is 6 feet away behind a screen with his noise. Okay, do you have your noise-canceling headphones on? That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Physics teacher Jesus said, 3-hour trip. What am I going to do for the other 2 hours and 55 minutes? Good question.
My mother's friends all got broken in half in a hot air balloon accident. It was quite hilarious. This is back when she was working at a law office when I was a kid. And somebody at the law office designed this hot air balloon ride for, what do they call it in the business, Josh? Like a company getaway.
Team building or retreat?
Sure. There you go, exactly. And so they piled 6-8 of these lawyers and legal secretaries and whatnot into a hot air balloon, and they asked my mom, "Okay, you coming?" And she said, "Hell no, I ain't going in a friggin' hot air balloon." And she did the right thing because they crashed. They fell from the sky and crashed, and legs were broken and necks were snapped and blood everywhere. They all lived.
That's good, at least.
Now this is a hell of a deal. Very strange. You got to use your head on this one. I did, and I still couldn't figure it out. Says here, technology. By God, Josh, there's good and bad in everything, including technology.
Very true.
One of the negatives is that technology has made it more difficult to cheat on your significant other. In the old days, you could just say you have a fantasy football draft or something, but now people can track you and all that. It's made it very difficult. Here's the damn deal. Last month, a woman went online to ask people for cleaning tips. She noticed that everything in her house was turning green, and she couldn't figure out what the living hell was going on. The green coloring was showing up on her couch, on her bed sheets, carpeting, on her own socks, on her phone charger, and even on her cat.
Yuck.
Green cat.
She showed pictures to strangers online where you could clearly see a green tint showing up on everything. She tested for mold. That wasn't it. She tested to see if it was her detergent. That wasn't it. There were a lot of theories going round and round from social media dorks. What is that now?
I said, oh no. I hope this isn't going the direction I think it is.
What direction do you think it's going in?
Well, the
Green
cat's
semen?
involved. Yeah.
I'm sorry?
This is some type of sexual fluid.
Oh, my God.
I got very worried about the
A
cat.
sexual fluid.
Yeah.
The cat?
It is not a sexual fluid.
You know
Oh,
how
thank
it's
God.
green?
Why would it be green if it was a sexual fluid? That
'Cause it's
means
green.
you have a terrible infection or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That is what you were thinking.
Yeah. Talking about
Josh,
cheating.
she was thinking of green sexual fluid.
That's what color it is.
Wait, is that not normal?
It's lime green.
I want to see a doctor.
All right. Everything's turning up green. Socks, sheets, couch, carpeting, phone charger, and even Dakiti. She showed these pictures off on that godless, soulless, evil social media. One person suggested that it could be brand new jeans from Old Navy because, quote, they stain everything. Now, do they mean green jeans, like green-colored jeans?
They must.
There's no
right? 'Cause-
explanation.
Yeah, I didn't get that either.
Okay,
and
I'll-
I'd never heard. I mean, that's my youngest. That's what he's got. You know, Old Navy jeans.
Oh.
We've never experienced that. Maybe just adult sizes.
I'll go ahead anyway and just explain it to you, and we'll try to figure it out. One person suggested that it could be brand new jeans from Old Navy because they, quote, stain everything. The woman who has green all over everything, she said, well, she and her husband aren't jeans people. Someone else on social media said, imagine if this is how you discover he's having an affair with some Old Navy jeans wearing hoe. And apparently that is what was happening. The later doesn't make any sense. The woman later posted an update saying that she didn't take that comment seriously at first, the comment about an Old Navy jeans wearing hoe, but her husband had been acting strangely. So she started looking at his bank statements for Old Navy purchases. She didn't see jack squat, but when she looked through his phone, what do I always say? If you want to break up with someone, just look through their phone for 5 minutes. She looked through his phone. She found evidence that he had a side piece. And yes, the other woman was wearing jeans in a lot of her photos. It's unclear if the jeans were Old Navy or some other brand. Now, the random commenter who jokingly suggested the affair because of Old Navy jeans said, I'm screaming. I'm sorry you found out like this, but glad the truth came out. This is absolutely mental to me, and I cannot explain or understand how a pair of jeans can turn everything in the house green. I don't understand, and they don't explain it in the story.
It's confusing for sure.
I guess I've had some new jeans before, blue jeans though, where if I wear them without washing them first, they kind of the color stains other things.
Green, though, or blue?
Blue.
Yeah.
But Old Navy does have quite a few different green jeans, I guess.
Kids are wearing green jeans?
Like army green.
Yeah.
Army green. I was picturing just greener than green.
Yeah, me too.
Like
North
St.
Stars,
Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patrick's Day, yeah. I don't know, but I guess we don't have to know. The gist of the story is a lady making a joke online about Old Navy jeans led to a woman finding out that her husband was folding a side piece.
I would be a little pissed if my man was cheating on me with a girl that wears green jeans.
That would be the most offensive part.
What are you doing, bro?
That's better than green semen, though, right? Greenman?
True.
But what did she do? You went through his phone, didn't you? There's only one couple on earth that would survive searching through each other's phones, and that's Josh and his wife. Other than that, you will break up if you look at your significant other's phone. You just will.
I could see my wife divorcing me out of boredom, thinking this is all he looks up. This is it.
Just guitar tech videos and stuff.
That's so wholesome.
Yeah, I was joking with our IT guy the other day. He had to look through the computer. He was having some issues. And I had told him, I said, thank God it was my computer, because any of my coworkers would be panicking just a little bit if the IT guy was going through.
Don't click there.
The computer's on fire. No, it's fine. It's fine. I got this. It's okay.
Nick, wasn't there a time where you were showing me, sorry, Dana, did I cut you off? I didn't mean that.
No, you're good.
Okay. You were showing me your phone, and you're like, don't swipe to the left.
Yes. I behave on my computer here at work. I do. But my cell phone? Don't look at that. My God.
Trouble?
It's absolute trouble from one end to the other.
Dude, I hate when people are looking. I have to show somebody a photo on my phone, and then they start swiping. What are you doing?
Jesus.
Stay on that one photo.
I would never do that for that fear.
Well, sometimes it can happen accidentally. The most perilous moment of my life was a few years ago when my niece asked me to hand me, I'll get there. My niece asked me to hand her my phone. I had a picture of something that I needed her to see. It was a cat or a dog or something. She's a little girl. And before I handed her the phone, and she's smart, so I knew I could trust her, but still, you got to throw it out there anyway. Before I handed her my phone so she could more clearly see this picture, I said, absolutely do not swipe to the left or the right. And she understood completely.
You guys need to start using some locked albums or locked folders.
Don't know what that means,
That's
Wapple.
too much work.
Nope, not for me.
Don't know what it means.
Just don't let anyone touch my phone.
I even get nervous if it's somebody that I'm relatively confident isn't going to have anything on there. Like an elderly family member or something, because I just don't want to find
Everyone's got something on their phone with the exception of you and your wife.
Let me ask you this now. When you kind of helped when your dad passed and you helped kind of organize everything.
Yes.
Were you nervous to go through his stuff? I was with my dad, even thinking there's no way we're going to find anything.
Of course.
So you were afraid you'd find something?
Of course I was. And we were going through all of it right in front of my mother.
Yeah. Look away, Mom.
But my brother and I kind of gave each other a look as if to say, okay, if you see something in there, sweep it under your foot or something. We were pretty confident that if we found something, we could hide it from our mother quite easily. And we didn't find anything. He was as good a man as we all believed him to be.
Yeah, same with my dad. Thank God.
I've heard other stories about departed souls who left behind some things that their folks weren't aware, their family wasn't aware of.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
That's scary.
A buddy of mine found out his mom was his mom was a widow, and when she passed, many years after her husband, she had quite the collection of adult toys that he never suspected, never once thought.
Yeah. Those are the...
And found a couple Polaroids of her and Dad and wanted to know who took the Polaroid. To this, and I never even thought of it.
Your friend wanted to know who took this Polaroid of my parents?
Yes. To this day, he's not sure.
Great question.
And that's something, I don't know if that would have entered my mind. I would have been so shocked. I'm thinking, oh, wait, somebody had to press the button. It's a Polaroid.
Yeah, and those are the similar stories I've heard is sex toys and porn, where you go, my God, I mean, it's only natural to have a couple of sex toys and a couple of porns, but they thought, I had no idea that my mother, father, sister, brother was this passionate a collector of such things. A gal friend of mine, sadly, her brother died, and she was asking me, have you ever heard of a double-sided Suck-Ola 3000 masturbation wall or something like that? I'm like, what? She's like, I found it at my brother's place. Oh. He had a masturbation wall, double suck 3000 wind tunnel. And I said, that's a new one on me.
Here's one right here. This person says they found their grandma's nudie Polaroids.
Now we're talking.
Prove it.
What?
Prove it.
Rack Attack Jesus said, when my husband's dad passed, we found a homemade porno of the mom and dad in the act. Yikes, she said.
That's tough to come back from.
Yeah.
You know, it's different if your parents, they're kind of funky, right? They're a little funky.
Sure. They're that open couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, their dad's, they're 65 years old and dad's still grabbing mom's ass and that whole routine.
Yeah,
right.
And one of my best friends, his dad is like that. So he's confident he'll find some stuff that maybe will still surprise him. But he knows he's preparing himself. But yeah, that's the thing. If you don't suspect it at all, you think, well, there's no way.
That would be very shocking for me if I found anything like that once my parents check out. If they're listening right now, can you just get rid of that stuff ahead of time, please? I don't want to go through that.
They're not done with it yet. They'll get rid of it when they're done with it.
Have a trusted friend that knows what to do when they hear of their passing.
That would be kind of a fun and / dark reality show, is people going through their parents' stuff and seeing what they find.
That would be. I'd watch that, Dana.
You know what? I don't really like reality shows, but I'd watch that too.
Yeah, that would just be fascinating. You never know,
This gal friend of mine, she had to go through her brother's things and said he had every whack, sleeve known to man. I'm so glad Ashley is back in the mix for this one, and we'll get going again after this real quick. There's not much to this, but I'm glad you're back, Ashley, because just us dudes talking about this here next subject would just be silly. It's a political thing, of course, and I want nothing to do with that part of it. The deal is Bush is back, if you know what I'm saying. Hair pie. Okay, according to the story in front of me, a big oversized matted bush is back in style for the ladies, like a Penthouse magazine from 1981. I'll believe it when I see it. It's just like how every couple of years we're told that listening to records is back in style, and everyone's buying records and record players again like it's the 70s, but yet I still have not been to anyone's house in the last 30 years and seen a real record player anywhere in the house. But the story is Bush is back, this reason for it, that reason for it. Ashley, your thoughts on the return of Bush?
And have you heard this
style
before?
I haven't heard that. Well, I guess I have heard about like the armpits and like the legs. Women are letting that go a little bit longer than usual, but I'm not a fan. I'm not down for that myself. It just gets weird and like itchy.
I've heard that from a couple of regular porn watchers that they've noticed that more. So maybe that's back in style.
I've seen more of it in the last few years than I have in a long time. That's all I can really state on this important subject.
I can't remember a time where I've ever had it get to that level where I would consider it a bush.
Yeah.
Like I said, it just gets itchy.
We don't want anyone itching down there. That makes you look
for all of us.
It makes you look unwashed in public when you're itching down there.
Exactly. And I don't want to be in a swimsuit in public and having
you're
it
digging at it.
out.
Yeah.
Bikini spiders.
I don't need that.
I remember the first time I saw a big old bush, and it kind of shocked me. I had never seen something like that before.
Yeah, I was there for that too, Josh. You were very surprised. You were taken back by that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you scolded your mom left and right.
Oh.
What are you doing?
This is my friend. Can't you clean it up for my friend, Dana said.
We've got company.
Dana, you got to be careful when you dive in on someone's joke because then you'll become the butt of the joke.
You have to turn it around on the guy that jumped in.
Right.
Teacher Shiza said her mom wanted her to sell her dad's penis pump after he died so she could get her $200 back. Face palm emoji.
No.
What do you
No,
suppose
Mom.
this thing is worth? Probably around $200. Can you sell it so I can get the money back?
On Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, nobody wants a used penis pump, I don't think.
Donnie's old penis pump is for sale on Facebook Marketplace, $200.
Big Tobacco She's has said, finally, I can say I'm in style. 6 months single now, so grooming habits have gone out the door. You just made my day.
Bush is back, and it's right on track, is what they say. Bush is back, and I like it like that. Yes, I do. That was a parody of an L.A. Guns song from 1988 called Bitch is Back, from their debut record, Josh.
That's crass.
Yeah, with Gypsy, Electric Gypsy, and what time is it? Is it time to go?
We could go if you wanted.
It's sports.
We should all do a little man and woman-scaping during the break.
I'm as clean as the day I was born.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
And now the Raptors training staff will attend to Grady Dick, who got hurt on that last transition opportunity.
Yeah, somebody got Dick in the face, Craig. See if he's okay.
I hear you, Dick in the face. Now, that is former NBA player Ryan Hollins. Played here for the Timberwolves for 20 minutes or so. He's now calling games for the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets are playing the Toronto Raptors the other day. Toronto has a young guard by the name of Grady Dick. And Grady was knocked down onto the court. Looked like he might have taken a shot to the mush. And Hollins took advantage of the situation and said, it looks like somebody got Dick in the face.
He must have been sitting on that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
He didn't come up with that off the top of his... Not to say he's not a creative guy in particular, but that seems like something someone had pre-thought out.
Without question, he's had that written down since the preseason, waiting for his opportunity.
And I don't mean this to be exclusive to him, certainly. I don't know anything about him. But, yeah, I think that sounded like somebody had that ready to go.
Sure, and who could blame him? Who could blame him? And then he had to make, his apology tour. But it reminds me of the old Burt Blyleven and Dick Bramer story, where, if I remember right, they were talking on air, Burt and Dick, back in the heyday, calling Twins ball game, and Dick Bramer was talking about how the two of them visited, I think, the Baseball Hall of Fame together, and Dick Bramer said, one thing I noticed was, very few of us had to have name tags on because these are the greatest baseball players that have ever lived, all hanging around having a drink together. Willie Mays doesn't need a name tag. Reggie Jackson doesn't need a name tag. Dick said, but I did, of course, because I'm just a play-by-play man, so I had my name on my shirt. And Burt Blyleven said, did you have Dick on your shirt? Right in front of all those Hall of Famers, you had Dick on your shirt? Similar joke. Different time. Timberwolves got off to one of their patented slow starts last night and got choked to death by the Cleveland Cavaliers. And when Randy Shaver shows up here in about a half hour, along with C Willi Myles, by the way, we can talk about this silly ownership thing going on with the Wolves. Apparently something got settled yesterday. Don't go anywheres because Cubbies News is coming up next.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
Former U.S. Navy SEAL Sean Ryan captures real stories about sacrifice and strength, uncovering truth with the heroes who live to tell it.
There are two kinds of people. They're winners and they're losers. Winners take whatever they feel.
He's tough as nails. The dude got hit with a mortar. I'm still shooting. They're still shooting. You got to finish it. You can't quit.
And they transmute it into things that are good for the world.
I had tunnel vision. I just saw a man that needed my help, and I went to get him.
Period.
The Sean Ryan Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Our thoughts and prayers for the individuals on the aircraft. It's certainly a tragedy that occurred. The fire department The police departments, airport operations did a fantastic job responding to the incident immediately and foaming down the aircraft to prevent additional fire.
Well, some sad news as a terrifying runway collision at Arizona's Scottsdale Municipal Airport left one person dead and several injured yesterday, including Motley Crue singer Vince Neil's girlfriend. The plane, a Learjet 35A reportedly owned by the Motley Crue frontman, was touching down when it crashed into a Gulfstream 200 business jet. According to airport officials, an initial investigation suggests that the Learjet's main landing gear failed during landing, triggering the devastating accident.
Coming down with the left main gear collapsed, the nose gear partially collapsed, and watched it slide off the runway from center of the runway to the left. And we knew, based on the speed, that it's heading towards a building or something over here.
Vince wasn't on board, but his girlfriend was. She suffered 5 broken ribs, while a friend traveling with her was also hospitalized. Tragically, one person lost their life, though authorities have yet to confirm their identity or which aircraft they were in. That being said, Poison frontman Bret Michaels posted on social media the victim was a pilot.
I'll be damned. Well, that's horrible.
Yeah.
You know, I hate those friggin' airplanes, so Vinny wasn't on the ride, though.
No, he wasn't on it. He owned it.
I'll be damned.
There were some dogs on there. Dogs got out okay, but sadly one of the pilots didn't make it.
Oh, it's awful.
An American Airlines flight was evacuated and delayed nearly 5 hours in Texas after a passenger had a Wi-Fi hotspot named "There is a bomb on the flight."
Dope.
Flight 286, bound for Charlotte, North Carolina, had already started taxiing Friday when it immediately returned to the gate after a concerned passenger spotted the alarming network name and showed a flight attendant. The pilot initially blamed the delay on an administrative issue, but later told passengers the truth. It was because somebody, who thought they were hilarious, named their hotspot "There is a bomb on the flight." That's when police boarded the aircraft, asking the person responsible to come forward. "If this is a joke, please raise your hand now," a lieutenant reportedly told passengers, "because we can deal with a practical joke differently than if we have to launch a full-blown investigation." Nobody owned up. With no choice but to treat it like a serious threat, authorities evacuated the entire plane. Passengers were taken to a secured area, forced to show police their hotspot names, and then re-screened by security. What a pain. Meanwhile, the aircraft itself underwent a thorough search. Bags were removed, checked, and sniffed by bomb dogs before getting cleared. After hours of uncertainty and frustration, passengers finally reboarded, and the flight took off about 6:15 p.m., more than 4.5 hours behind schedule, and without the identity of the comedian whose bomb joke itself bombed.
So this chicken dick never admitted it?
No, they think they're going to find out who it was. And now they have to investigate it, and they're going to get in some more trouble.
Right.
A TSA spokesperson later emphasized the bomb threats, real or not, are taken very seriously. Well, of course.
What a jag-off.
Yeah.
Although, if you actually did have a bomb, wouldn't you just use that excuse where they said, okay, if this is just a joke, say something now. Oh, yeah, I was messing. There's no actual bomb.
They're still going to investigate.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, one way or the other. But they're just saying, if you come clean now, maybe it's not going to be as bad. Things weren't much better for passengers on a recent Alaska Airlines flight after an attendant had to restrain a screaming passenger who latched onto a woman's hair and wouldn't let go.
What were they screaming about?
Ouch.
According to Alaska Airlines, the man appeared to be experiencing a violent medical episode and was physically assaulting both passengers and crew. One unlucky witness took to social media and described how things got turbulent before the plane even left the ground. "This dude started saying weird stuff and rocking back and forth," he wrote. And he did. The sounds he was making were even more unsettling than Dana's on-air confession of sleeping in the nude. At the very end, it was tough to hear, but they made an announcement saying, "We need another able-bodied male to come help me."
This guy's just screaming his balls off.
Moments later, the guy lunged forward, turned a woman's hair into his own personal emotional support rope, and then held on for dear life.
Oh, my God, I'm just so mad.
Pulling the hairs right out of this gal's skull?
Yeah, this must have been something to see. So he refused to give up his grip. So the flight attendant started punching him in the throat, landing throat punch after throat punch.
Oh, my gosh.
The man was finally restrained and held until authorities arrived, and the flight was canceled until the following day.
This guy's different.
He has been permanently banned from Alaska Airlines. insurance.
I can't even imagine that happening to me.
A 27-year-old California man missed his haircut appointment and completely lost it, trashing a salon, threatening employees, and throwing a full-blown temper tantrum when he was told he was too late for a trim.
You need to leave. Shut the f***. Dude, are you really that mad?
Greg Marriott showed up to Great Clips over an hour late, right before closing, only to be turned away. Instead of taking the L and booking another appointment like a normal person would, he went berserk. He immaturely that led to the man knocking hair products off the shelves, threatening to knock the glasses right off someone's face, hurling insults at customers and the two women working, even calling them ugly.
You ugly. You ugly. What was that? You ugly.
I know I'm not. So.
You ugly.
That's a grown man, ladies and gentlemen.
God must have had a hot date that night if he needed to cut that bad.
Oh, I'm going to doubt that. His bizarre threats escalated when he vowed to send his lesbian friends after them.
Oh, wait for you.
Sorry. Cool.
Get my lesbian friends to come.
Okay.
Well, no, send them over here.
I love how the lady's like, okay. One of the employees on Face simply told him, you need to leave. And eventually he did. But thanks to multiple public tips, police tracked him down on Wednesday. As it turns out, this guy's clearly got bigger problems than just a missing haircut, because it wasn't his first public meltdown. He was already on parole for flipping out at a Jack in the Box when he realized he didn't have enough money to pay for his meal. That time, he threw a drink at an employee, spewed racial slurs, and bitch-slapped a customer so hard she fell to the ground.
Well, yeah, but he was the one who didn't have enough money for his meal.
Yeah, he didn't bring enough. So
it's everybody else's fault.
This poor little fella, he just can't handle it, can he?
Nah, he has a tough time dealing. Harvard administrators and campus police are on high alert after multiple reports of a pantless prowler making himself a little too comfortable in student dorms, wearing nothing from the waist down. Over the past month, students have spotted the half-naked intruder roaming hallways, wandering between floors, and even slipping into bathrooms with a scholarly slong, leaving the community on edge. In response, students have been urged to stay vigilant. The resident dean advised basic safety measures like keeping doors locked and assured students security patrols have been stepped up to find the Ivy League lowlife before he exposes himself again.
Just rod swinging. Huh?
Yeah, just half-naked walking around. For now, the search continues for Harvard's most wanted streaker, who remains on the run, regrettably, without pants.
Harvard, huh?
That's not supposed to happen there, right?
If I'm going to expose myself, I'm going to Arizona State University.
There's a good chance you're not going to be the only one there doing it.
That's right, you'll just blend in. A Central Florida middle school teacher, a music teacher, has been arrested for inappropriate online contact with a minor. Authorities say the music teacher from Hunters Creek Middle School was caught last week after investigators uncovered disturbing conversations on Discord. According to court documents, the music teacher hit a sour note when he engaged in inappropriate online communication with underage boys in Maryland. When confronted by federal investigators, he reportedly admitted, I fell into temptation that I should not have. I'm not a sick individual. I made a mistake. The Orange County School District has placed him on leave during
He makes it sound so innocent, doesn't he,
Yeah.
Josh?
Hey, it could happen to anybody. You know how it is.
People make mistakes.
Chatting with young boys, maybe you're inappropriate. Don't act like you're above it.
Nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, he says. You know what? You're right. People do. It's the level of mistake that we're interested in here, sir.
There are some times that it's above and beyond a normal mistake.
Right.
Like this next story. Rush Funplex in Utah not only features laser tag, rock climbing, kiddie carts, and a foam pit.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
Oh, it sounds fun.
Oh, come on. Those are the worst places on planet Earth.
Oh, I'm in.
But it recently also unwittingly added children's sock stealing and sniffing from a local lowlife.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Sniffing.
You go ahead and hang out there. I'll stay home.
A pervert caught stealing and sniffing children's socks at the entertainment venue faces numerous felony charges after a police search of his residence and electronic devices found multiple disturbing files. The investigation into 63-year-old Roland Brown began last year after an employee of the Rush Funplex called cops when they noticed something was afoot. A suspicious man stealing and sniffing young people's socks. Police learned Brown stole multiple children's socks from 2 of their locations. Additionally, he was seen sniffing the stolen socks and taking multiple pictures of kids' feet. Alarmed by his behavior, cops secured a warrant to raid his home and discovered several images of kids around the area trying on shoes or just pictures of their socked feet.
If this guy wants to step up to the big leagues, I'll give him a pair of my socks.
Gross.
Quit messing around in the little leagues.
This
Come
is
on
called
up here
Scared Straight.
That's right.
A routine grocery run in Texas had a surprising ending Wednesday afternoon when a driver lost control of their SUV in a parking lot, flipping it onto its side and somehow wedging it tightly between two other vehicles. This picture is insane. It's on 93x.com. The Woodlands Fire Department shared baffling photos of the precariously positioned Subaru on social media, showing just how snugly it landed in the unexpected spot. I have no idea how this could happen. Despite the shocking scene, the driver walked away unscathed. Firefighters carefully helped them climb out through the back of the SUV, where they were checked out by first responders. The sheriff's office is investigating what led to that unusual crash.
Yeah, did they ask him, like, look, bro, how the hell did you do this?
Yeah, we want to learn. We can put this in a movie. A terrifying road rage incident in Washington state turned explosive, quite literally, when fireworks were launched from a truck's window at a car, and now police are on the hunt for those responsible. Also on 93x.com. The shocking scene captured on dashcam video shows a pickup truck aggressively pursuing a car as both vehicles sped down the road. The footage, recorded by a woman driving the targeted car, reveals the truck had initially passed her before slowing down, setting the stage for what happened next. Suddenly, a passenger in the truck leaned out, started firing Roman candle-style fireworks straight at her vehicle. Panicked, she tried to evade him, but the truck keeps up, relentlessly launching the projectiles as it chases her down the street. The dangerous pursuit only ended after she managed to pull into the parking lot of a grocery store. Thankfully, she wasn't injured, but the harrowing footage has cops committed to catch the culprits. Authorities who posted the dashcam video on Instagram are asking for the public's help identifying the truck and its occupants. What triggered that road rage event is under investigation.
What do you think, Josh? Teenage kids effing off on social media?
That'd be my guess, yep. Yeah, I'm sure that's
They've moved on from paintball guns. The hip new thing is Roman candles now, maybe.
A 13-year-old boy in Plymouth, England, boldly strolled into a hospital dressed in scrubs, flashing a fake ID and attempting to pose as a doctor. He's 13. However, his youthful appearance quickly raised suspicions among the staff, who could easily distinguish between a seasoned medical professional and a kid who had yet to experience his first shave.
Yeah, this isn't a sitcom.
Yeah, I'm picturing the kid wearing an oversized doctor robe,
Was he just trying to see a naked lady?
I wonder. Hospital security called police about 10:30 a.m. Sunday, January 19th. They quickly took him into custody, but they ultimately let him go with a warning, no criminal charges, but a stern talking to and some intervention work from the child-centered policing team.
A lot of kids out there. A lot of kids could use a good talking to.
It's not just kids playing doctor. Adults are faking their way into the healthcare world, too, this time in the States. A 44-year-old Pennsylvania woman posed as a dental assistant and performed procedures she had no business doing. Now she's headed to prison for it. Rose Horn pulled off the scheme for a year, convincing multiple dentists she was qualified to handle advanced dental work.
Wow.
But there was a problem. She had no license. Despite the lack of credentials, she performed serious procedures on real patients, installing crowns and bridges, filing down fillings, administering local anesthesia, and even assisting with root canals. She wasn't qualified to do any of it, but somehow got away with it for months, landing jobs at 3 different dental practices, fooling employers with the fake credentials.
Well, I mean, how'd she do?
Well enough, I guess, to last a little bit.
Yeah, I guess maybe she should go to school for that now.
And cops are being impersonated as well. A 43-year-old Connecticut man's facing charges after police say he posed as an officer during a heated parking lot fight at a grocery store. The man got into an argument outside a Stop and Shop. In the middle of the confrontation, witnesses say he claimed to be a police officer and even gave a badge number, but his bluff didn't hold up for long. Witnesses weren't buying it, and real officers soon arrived to set the record straight. He was promptly arrested and now faces charges for impersonating a police officer and breach of peace. An old conflict between humans and sea people that threatens war between kingdoms happens in The Witcher: Sirens of the Deep, now on Netflix. Lincoln Park's Mike Shinoda, 48 today. Jennifer Aniston, 56. Shout out to Mark with Varner Heating from Varner Heating. Jesus, killing it every day. Happy birthday to Nick's bro, Leonardo.
Leonardo.
Hey, happy birthday.
I hope I'm right about that. I think it's Leonardo's birthday. If it's not, we'll do this again in a couple days.
Yeah, not specifically today, but just whenever it is. Happy birthday. And finally, happy birthday to Cheesehead for Life Cheeses from The Legend. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
Big time onions. Goodness.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Eventually, you need new leadership to kind of push us to the next level, and I think that's what A-Rod and Mark are going to be bringing to the Timberwolves organization. So I'm thankful for the Taylor family and excited to be able to move forward with certainty into this kind of exciting age of Ants and Timberwolves basketball.
There you go, checking in with Randy Shaver now. Hello, Randy.
Good morning.
And Randy, help us welcome C Willi Myles back to the program. Hi, C Willi.
C Willi's in the house.
Good morning.
Coming into the studio with the hood up over his head. He braved the cold weather for us, Randy Shaver. 7-8 below this morning. What the hell are you laughing at?
Watch it, Randy.
Nobody gives a pump about Florida.
Don't do that, Randy.
Randy,
look on your brother.
C Willi Myles, we were talking about you earlier, and Josh was hoping he was remembering this correctly. When you did not expect the cold weather when you first came up to Minnesota from Alabama. Is that correct?
Did not.
Did not.
And was no weather app. There was no weather app. That was when I went to college, baby. There was no weather app. There was no GPS. There was no cable channel. There was no weather channel. There was nothing. A bunch of lies was told to me down in Alabama.
Yeah, you were mainly unaware of St. Cloud State University when they asked you to come there and play football.
Never heard of it.
You didn't know 8-9 below existed.
When I got here, brother, it was 27 below.
27 below when you first got to town.
43 below wind chill.
And didn't you say
I'll never forget it.
You were mad at your coach for not telling you that before they recruited you to come here?
That's not even the word I used. I was pissed. I mean, it was like when I landed when we got to the plane landed, and I looked outside, and the snow, just like the other day, it was blowing sideways. It was just, I'm thinking, it's humid up here, really? You know?
Right.
I was like, my God, that lady looked at me. I'll never forget that little lady that was sitting next to me. She went, baby, where you from? I said, Alabama. She went, mm-hmm. Oh. And I was like, mm-hmm, what? She said, well, sweetheart, what are you doing up here? I said, well, I'm going to college to play football at St. Cloud State. She went, ooh, they got you good. I'll never forget that. I did not understand what she was saying. She said, sweetheart, it is cold out there. She said, you have a winter jacket? I'm like, you looking at it. Mm-hmm. She looked at me like, mm-mm.
Man. So now after all these years, have you learned to enjoy the cold?
No.
Not at all.
No. Never embraced it.
Never embraced it.
No.
Hate it to this day.
I hate it to this day. I have nothing good to say about it. You know, every time, like I said, as soon as I have a break in the action, like, on Sunday, I'll be heading back to Arizona.
Okay.
That's just what I do.
You look good in a stocking cap.
You do.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's a beautiful, new-looking stocking cap you have on there.
Oh, you guys are so complimentary.
Yeah.
Well, you owe y'all money or something?
You dress well.
You got any?
when you bundle up, you wear it well.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I got bundle clothes because brother got to be warm, man.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I make no bones about it. I'm a wuss when it comes to the Minnesota weather. I hate it with a passion.
Well, Josh, how many years in a row now have we been getting out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning for this program?
26 as of yesterday.
I don't know if this, 26 years as of yesterday. I don't know if this is a fair comparison, but even after 26, 30 years, whatever it's been total of doing morning radio, I'm still not used to getting up at that.
I would agree with that. The only thing, I wonder if you feel the same way, Nick. The only thing that's different is it doesn't feel weird. Like, it just seemed unnatural and weird at first.
Yeah, it did.
Now it's a little more normal just because we've done it for so long. And I think that's kind of shared with a lot of people that have similar hours as we do.
So after all these years, and now we're going to come full circle here with you, C Willi Myles, because we were talking about Minnesota weather and cliche things about Minnesota and Midwesterners. Let me ask you this. After all these years, do you consider yourself a Midwesterner or do you still consider yourself a Southerner?
Oh, no. I'm a straight-up Midwesterner.
Okay.
No, I've called Minnesota my home for years. I don't use the cliches that you guys use. I mean, I've literally made a living off of talking about Minnesota and the weather and my coming here
and our personalities.
So I always tell people I can't go back now, because it would make me a liar on stage. I have 7 albums that I've talked about. Never ice fishing again, never going on, downhill skiing or stuff like that. Now people always tell me, you're going to try it though, right? I'm like, no, then I'll be a liar. I mean, I have too much. I have too much information out there saying I won't do it.
We're happy to have you as a Midwesterner.
I appreciate it.
Happy to have you as a Midwesterner, and happy to have you join us this morning.
We got a couple texts wanting us to ask you about getting stuck in Alabama. You got stuck in Alabama recently?
Yeah. That's right. I haven't been here in a while.
No, it's been a
bit. I got
bit.
Stranded. And you guys know I've said this kind of off record, how I hate the state of Alabama. I just hate being there. And to get stranded, and all my friends from up here were calling me, man, you all right?
Yeah.
They were calling me like I was like stuck down there like the movie 12 Years a Slave. And
well, when Josh said yesterday that you were coming in, I was like, oh, he is? I thought I just assumed he was still in Alabama. That was still stuck.
I think I posted that when I left. I survived.
How the hell did you get stranded in Alabama?
7.5 inches of snow.
Right. We heard about this.
I was at my sister's, and even my own family members from down there, my cousins was calling my sister's house going, yeah, you okay, dude? I was like, no, I am not okay. I need to get out of here. Nothing like going to a place and karma just hits you. Like, they know, like, the state of Alabama knows I don't want to be there. As soon as I land, I have an attitude. Like I gotta rent a car.
Okay, so I was picturing you had a car breakdown or something, stranded in that fashion.
No. I flew there, and they got 7.5 inches, and it shuts the whole southeast down, Florida.
Right.
Randy, you guys got a taste of that little cold weather there, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
Pensacola, Florida got 10 inches of snow.
This was a few weeks ago then. Yeah, we heard about this. Yeah.
It was tragic. Man.
So as a Midwesterner, were people turning to you for help on the situation?
No, they don't turn to anybody. They don't call they were calling me just to, I was the only one that was willing to go anywhere.
Right.
Because I had an SUV and so forth. And
they were terrified of it.
Snow.
Yeah.
Oh, I was the only tracks on the road. I went to the store. Because I told my sister, we got to get food, because, it's like one of those things where people down south, I mean, they don't have no shovels. They don't have no plows. They don't have no salt.
That's
they
crazy.
have nothing. I mean,
unprepared.
That's nature.
Yeah.
So they canceled my flight. I was supposed to leave on Tuesday. I left Friday morning.
Okay.
Wow. The airport shut down.
You were staying with your sister, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah.
It is strange how you take it for granted, right? If you grew up here and you know it. I lived in a neighborhood when I first moved to Egan, and there were a lot of people from other countries. And all of a sudden, I was like the winter expert. Where they'd come out, well, what do we do here? Right. When do we turn the furnace on? Right. People there was just some pretty seemed obvious stuff. Do we put chains on our tires?
I know.
No.
And it helps that all my cousins, all my family members know I'm from Minnesota, and they was like, so is it normal? I'm like, not here.
Right.
No, this isn't normal.
Did you get snow down in Florida since you've been there for the last month and a half, Randy?
No, when we drove into Jacksonville 3 weeks ago, they were not in Jacksonville, but in the Panhandle, they were getting some snow.
Yeah.
So that was a big story then, a little over 3 weeks ago. But since then...
You've been there for over 3 weeks now? My God.
I have, yeah.
Right on.
Yeah,
they don't know what the hell to do down there when a storm hits, and Josh is right. I mean, they don't really even know the terminology or any of the specifics of how we survive in this kind of weather if you're in the deep south. Now, of course, I used to spend time in Mississippi, and one of the most interesting questions I was ever asked was by a kid. Now, number one, interesting that the kid's name was, and you friggin' folks in the south with the funny names. This, I never heard, to this day, I've never heard anyone else. His name was Their, Their. Or maybe, well, I guess I can't say for sure how to spell it, but his name was Theer. And I had never heard that before. Nice kid. We were all young at the time. But he pulled me aside once at some kind of social function down there in Mississippi and told me he was moving to Toronto for work, and he wanted to know if he needed chains for his tires. And I said, well, no, dude, you're not moving to the mountains of Wyoming. And you're going to be you're living in the city of Toronto? And he said, yeah. I said, no. But they just don't know.
No,
they just don't know.
They have no idea. They don't even know what all-wheel drive means.
No.
They don't
crazy.
They don't. They have rear-wheel drive cars down there. They don't know anything about it.
That's funny. I have an uncle. He's really, really cheap to the point where he'll buy a new vehicle once it dies. Right. That's not what makes him cheap. But when he buys one, he'll say, "I don't want any power windows. Don't put a radio in it." I mean, he upset salespeople because he wants a special order with nothing.
Cheap bastard.
And he gets crap. Some of my other uncles would say, you're the only Minnesotan on purpose who bought a rear-wheel drive pickup truck because he didn't want to pay for four-wheel drive.
Wow. That's cheap.
We're glad you made it out of Alabama. It sounds like
me too. Twice.
You're the one who's really glad that you made it out of Alabama.
I really am.
Yeah,
man.
Twice in your lifetime now you've escaped that terrible area. Randy Shaver, we might as well get going again. We started with some audio there from Timberwolves fans. There's been a thing happening for a while with the Wolves, an ownership thing.
Yep.
And the word is, as of yesterday, a feller called Mark Lohr and big league all-timer Alex Rodriguez and his wife Jennifer Lopez have announced that they are now the full-on owners of the Timberwolves. They beat out longtime owner Glenn Taylor in some type of arbitration meeting. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it still has to be approved by the NBA Board of Governors, but that seems to be a formality at this point. Although there might be a little bit of intrigue only because Glenn Taylor is not a willing partner in this process, right?
Okay.
So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Is this going to continue to go on and on? So you're saying there's a chance this isn't over yet?
I'm saying that there's still a hurdle or two to go before this is all official and Lohr and Rodriguez take over. But I don't think that the NBA process is going to hold this up. I really think that that they're going to end up being the majority owner and they'll take over the franchise.
All right. Any fears?
Well, I think there's always trepidation when you've got new owners.
Yeah.
Although these guys have worked really hard, at least from my perspective, in watching them assimilate themselves into the community and be a part of what's going on and be excited about living here and making this franchise be the best it can be. Certainly Glenn Taylor, it's been an up and down ownership. He saved it from Marvin Harv, who tried to sell it to a New Orleans group in 1994.
Right.
He was the hero then. He's had some ups and downs, certainly. And I would say that most people feel like it's a good time for new ownership to take over and give it a breath of fresh air and hopefully infuse some excitement and some money and those things. I was reading last night that Lohr is saying that they are full of cash, that they've got money, and that they have money to spend. I think that's news to any Minnesota sports fan who has watched the Twins or any other local team. You want to hear the ownership say, we're all in.
Yeah,
right?
it always seems like we're scraping up for loose change when it comes to sports franchises.
The Wilfs changed that. Yeah. The Wilfs changed that.
Well, it's that second-hand exercise equipment money.
A lot of money in that game.
Second wind, whatever.
But I think people are anxious and excited for what this could mean. We don't know. We'll have to see how it plays itself out. But
A-Rod and J-Lo and that other guy said this and that about winning championships and all kinds of wonderful things. Now, any fears that they're going to up and move the club to Seattle or Las Vegas?
100%.
There's always going to be...
C Willi Myles has 100% fear.
Yeah, there's always going to be something like that in the back of your mind. We all have Norm Green syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I just think that there's always going to be that. However, hopefully there's something in writing that keeps them here. I don't know all those particulars.
Right.
We're always Minnesota. We'll always have Norm Green syndrome.
Absolutely. And I just think I think the one thing they're going to want is they're going to want a stadium.
A new arena.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
yeah.
Already?
Anytime you get big ballers like those two, I mean, they're going to want nice stuff.
Well, Target Center's in pretty good shape.
Pretty good shape, but it's been around a while.
Didn't they just renovate it, too?
Yeah,
they
a few years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Place looks great. Well,
you know, Texans are saying the same thing, that they're going to want to put a new arena.
Well, what the hell's wrong with the one they got now? Man, the Polads no longer running the Twins. Alex Rodriguez and his wife, Jennifer Lopez, are running the Wolves. It's a whole new vibe around here, C Willi Myles. And a lot of people are texting in, and this is the first thing that came to mind for me when I heard about this yesterday, is now we can get Kevin Garnett back into the mix, retire his number, and I think he'll take a job with the club.
Yeah.
Like working concessions, or what are you thinking?
Yeah. He'll be the guy that wipes up the sweat on the free throw line after. Of course.
If anything else, KG would be an incredible ambassador.
Right. Yeah. That's the type of gig I'm picturing him taking.
Yeah, it's kind of like what the Twins do with all their alumni.
Right.
The Twins are fantastic. And the Vikings actually are very good at this, too.
Right.
Their alumni are very visible in the community, very active. And I think getting someone like KG involved would be a big step for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think he'd probably wind up doing something more like what Magic did with the Lakers. And I think it would be smart to bring him into the fold like that, because he was he was the biggest ticket to play for the Timberwolves.
Love KG.
As far as I'm concerned.
Love KG.
And his jersey belongs up in that rafter, and it's too bad that they treated him the way they did.
Yeah, it'll be up there soon enough. I'll be damned. Alex Rodriguez. If you would have told me 20 years ago, Alex Rodriguez, he's going to come to Minnesota and own the local basketball team, I would have said, what the hell are you smoking?
Right, exactly.
And I've never met the man, but the little things that I see and hear about him these days, he sounds like a pleasant guy. I'm happy. Let's go ahead and do whatever you got to do, Alex Rodriguez, other than move the team to Seattle.
And I would also say that Mark Lohr has done a really nice job in the community, too, of getting himself acclimated and assimilated and all those kind of things, too. I mean, A-Rod gets all the kind of press because he's A-Rod.
Right.
But Mark Lohr really is the money guy behind this whole thing, and is the guy that has kind of been driving all of this. So.
Well, I never saw Mark Lohr play at an all-star game, so I don't know him. Josh, what do you think about this idea? Another old player we should bring back to town, an old ex-Timberwolf we could bring back to town, and he could help run the organization. Let's get Christian Laettner back in town.
I just watched that 30 for 30.
Yeah?
And I like him better than I used to.
He did come off very likable in that, Josh.
That was really good.
Well, he is a likable guy. What about
Nick,
Christian? Yes, Randy.
I would say, hey, let's bring back Sam Mitchell.
Oh, I love Sam Mitchell.
That's a legend.
That's the guy I want back here in town.
I love him.
Involved in the organization.
He's my favorite all-time member of the Timberwolves. Sam Mitchell, I love the way he played the game. I loved everything about that man. I'm 100% behind the return of Sam Mitchell.
God,
is he the one that did the big ball dance?
No, that was Sam Cassell.
Sam Cassell.
Sam Mitchell, from where? Where did he go to school?
Mercer?
Mercer.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
My buddies
Randy.
and I.
Still sharp, buddy.
Yeah, Randy, he's okay.
He's still sharp after retirement. After
Oh my God! Are you giving me? Are you
down in
giving me
Florida
crap now?
Sometimes that stuff you run out, Randy. You're not talking about them every night. You're reading that cue card.
The ball club.
That's a lot.
All that information on the TV in front of you,
Oh man.
He can't improvise 1 time out of 10. He can't.
Yeah.
The club themselves, the Timberwolves, got choked to death last night in Cleveland.
Oh, my God.
That's a good team.
They got off to...
Again, the Cavaliers are really, really good.
Well, yeah.
They're just really good. They're just such a really strong... strong team. Their bench is rock. Even though you've probably never heard of a lot of guys on that bench, they just all play so well together.
They're a very good basketball team, but when when the Wolves don't have a field goal until there's 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter.
Right.
Yeah.
They were down 16-0. They missed their first 16 shots. It was like watching 8th grade basketball. No field goals were made by the Wolves until there was under 3 minutes left in the first quarter. They only scored 12 in that quarter. They're behind the 8 ball immediately. And the Cavaliers, like you guys were saying, are so friggin' talented. They're just going to step on your head and kill you right then and there.
Yeah,
I mean Edwards scored a pile of points, but, they have an issue.
I'm sorry. He was the only one that could score.
Right.
Everybody else just struggled. The addition of DeAndre Hunter for the Cavaliers is going to make it's going to make a big difference for them. They're just really talented, just really, really good.
The Wolves have an issue starting slower than the second coming of Christ. They need to wake up in time for a game at home against Milwaukee tomorrow night. Anthony Edwards did become the first Timberwolves in history to record 3 consecutive 40-point games. He scored, 44 last night?
28 of Minnesota's 60 points. Step back 3, good.
Just looking over at the Cleveland Cavaliers coaching staff, and their shoulders just slumped when Ant just trained that 3.
And they called a timeout because they can't stop him.
Edwards scored a lot of points, but it didn't matter.
Yeah, it's just not getting a lot of help.
The team is just I can't. I was at the game the other night. They lost before the Bulls. Who did they play?
You watched them play some Sacramento, maybe.
No.
That was the game right before the Washington?
No. They played. I can't remember what game I was at.
No, you're giving me crap?
I know, and that's sad.
You can't even remember what you did for lunch.
Suddenly, I don't even know what. I go on the road. I'm doing shows. I come home. My wife said, we got tickets. We're going to the game, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what day it is. I don't know who we're going to.
And your brain's still thawing out from your drive-in.
And I was up in Tower, Minnesota. I was up at Fortune Bay for this big, huge ALS event, which was nice. And thanks to all the brotherhood that was up there, man.
It's great to hear.
Honest to God, it's incredible.
You went to an ALS event, came home with Alzheimer's.
No. They were snowmobiling.
Well, yeah, that's what they do up there.
Right. So, but no, this was like 500 people came up to this big event.
Oh, yeah.
And they sled from Tower all the way over to Grand Rapids.
That's awesome.
From Grand Rapids to Duluth.
They're hardcores.
165 miles.
Yeah, that's.
And I'm like, I'm not doing that. But ran into your buddy up there too, Randy Ken Herbeck.
Oh,
sure. Isn't that Herbeck and Steiny's deal?
Yeah. Yep.
So you were saying you were not impressed by the Timberwolves, I think, is where we were going with this.
Yeah, and they just that's how bad it is that I couldn't. I don't even remember the game I was at.
Well, that's
they
okay.
were playing,
but
it was like.
Here we go again.
It just cracked me up. I can't remember. But anyway,
should we just move on? Are you okay, See Willi Myles?
I mean, they just don't look. Look, what I'm coming to say right now is this. This is all I want to say.
What the hell time is it?
Trading Cat was a bad idea.
Trading Cat was a bad
idea. That's what I'm trying to say.
I understand.
Their team needed one more year together. If they'd have stayed together one more year. That's all I'm saying. Period. Because this team looks raggedy sometimes.
You could have said that 20 minutes ago, for Christ's sake.
Sorry about that. That's how my shows go, too, if you ever come to one.
That's not true.
Half hour in, guy hasn't told the joke yet.
Yeah. I keep weaving in and out of my story.
Kind of mumbling into the microphone. We paid for this. The Dallas Mavericks, they can't escape the news. Dallas Mavericks, everywhere you look. Obviously, they had a dramatic trade a week or so ago. There's a rumor going around that the Dallas Mavericks owner, a feller by the name of Nico Harrison, the dude who traded baby nuts, Luka Doncic, the rumor is that Harrison has been receiving death threats from Mavericks fans. Word is they're beefing up security at their arena because of the supposed threats to the owner's life. My God, what have we become? But then again, some say this is a made-up story.
Yeah.
Not that I think any of us will be surprised by such things. We read that stuff all the time. A guy fumbles in a big football game, and they're threatening to kill him on Twitter. A Mavericks fan got thrown smooth out of their home game last night. They were playing a team, and I can't remember.
Sacramento.
I can't remember what team it was.
Oh, don't do that.
The Mavericks are playing at home last night.
It's catchy.
I know. And a fan got thrown out because he acted cute on the Jumbotron.
This is up on 93x.com.
Check it out. So they take a timeout, and the Mavs arena staff runs a karaoke cam gimmick. You know, during the stoppage of play, they play a song, and the crowd, looks into the camera and sings along. The fan got up there on the screen, and with the camera on his handsome face, he started singing along to the Whitney Houston song, I Wanna Dance With, By God, Somebody, but then he visibly mouthed the words, Fire Nico. The owner, Nico Harrison.
Kind of tough to fire the owner.
I suppose it is. They didn't toss this guy right away. Later on, he and his bro held up a sign that said, Fire Nico, and they threw him out. You can't say anything bad about the owner, I guess, on a sign or during a karaoke segment at a pro ball game. The rest of the crowd booed as the dude was being walked out by security.
I wonder if he got a warning first, like, hey, we're going to take that sign from you. Or if they were just like, you know what? Yeah, screw it. You're out.
Well, you'd think they would have taken it away from him at the door.
Yeah.
But whatever. I don't see anything wrong with that. The guy didn't cuss or anything.
Exactly.
Just an FYI, he's not the owner. He's the general manager and the president of basketball operations.
Okay, that's more fireable than the owner, then.
So he's a lot more fireable than the owner.
Oh, my bad. I blew up there, and I apologize.
Yeah. So you saying it could happen, Randy?
I'm saying that we have seen plenty of Minnesota fans upset with general managers and presidents of teams here.
That's what we're known for.
Yes. So.
Well, anyway, not that it really matters to me, but this guy, maybe he was acting like a total buffoon and cursing and swearing in the stands, other than what I already told you about. But he mouths Fire Nico into the camera. He has a sign that says Fire. You can't let the guy sit there and just be angry.
Well, then this makes it a story, right?
Right.
It wouldn't have been much of a story.
And then the other side of that is that Luka makes his Laker debut last night and scores 14 and plays a decent amount of time. And the Lakers, you got to watch out. They're the number 4 team in the West right now. They're playing really good basketball. They've won 6 in a row. And I think LeBron has found some new life with a partner that, offensively can match what he can do. And so the only thing is the Lakers, and, See Willy, you love basketball. Right. They're playing without a center. Exactly. They don't have a legitimate center on their roster right now. So we'll see how long that lasts.
The Lakers don't have
They're playing without defense.
Yeah.
The Lakers, you're talking about the Lakers. They have no defense, and they really don't have a center.
A legitimate center.
Yeah. But maybe they could call a guy. Now, he says his name is Roger Murdoch.
Yeah.
But I have my suspicions that he's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Gosh, it'd be awesome if Kareem could play a little bit, wouldn't it?
By the way, when we were rolling through ex-Timberwolves that maybe need to be brought back to town to help the new ownership, of course, people are throwing Pooh Richardson, all this. Somebody texted in, CFH bass player Jesus says, somebody call Felton Spencer. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that man is passed.
I think he's passed, yeah.
Joke's on you. The dude's dead.
Yeah.
Felton Spencer.
Felton is passed.
Do I have to tell the Sergei Zoltak story again? Not that I should judge people on their knowledge of who's alive and who's dead, because I make that mistake all the time.
Right.
One of the most incredible things I've ever seen at a hockey game. Big Al and I, many years ago, went to a Pigs game, and we're in line for the pisser, and the line is long. The first period had just ended, and the Pigs weren't playing very well. And a guy in front of us in line turns around, and he wasn't just directing this question to Al and I. He was kind of directing it to everyone in line for the men's room, and he says, "What the hell is Jacques Lemaire's problem?" And we said, "Well, what do you mean?" And he said, "It was Sergei Zoltak. He had a great year last year. I don't even see him on the ice. I mean, What the hell's Lemaire's problem? Put your best guys on the ice. Zoltak's a great player. And we had to say, dude, the guy died a few months ago.
Oh, man.
This guy felt so freaking embarrassed. But it happens. I make that mistake myself. And the guy died horribly. I mean, you would have thought he would have heard about it. The man died horribly. C Willi Myles, our guest in studio. Did you watch the football game on Sunday? You did not.
No.
Most of us did not.
No.
Yeah, yet they had a record audience. So
I think they recorded that during the halftime show. There's no way.
You don't think there was a record for the whole thing?
No.
The numbers.
Did you count everybody individually?
I was surprised that it set a record.
Yeah.
It was a record audience, yeah.
Okay, well, what you missed, C Willi Myles, was something that made a lot of us very, very happy. The Kansas City Chiefs were terrible. They got their gut stomped out.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes specifically had one of the worst performances in Super Bowl history. I didn't realize it in the moment. But the only player, Randy Shaver, and I know this is going to make you feel kind of bad because you're a big fan of this guy, and so am I. The only quarterback, I guess I should say, who performed worse than Patrick Mahomes did a couple days ago was in the year 2003, Rich Gannon quarterbacking the Oakland Raiders against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rich Gannon threw 5 interceptions in that game, including 3 that were returned for touchdowns.
Oh, my God.
When the Raiders were gutted by the Buccaneers all those years ago. One thing I remember about that Super Bowl is that I slept through the entire thing. I laid on the couch and thought, yay, it's Super Bowl Sunday. The lights went out, and I woke up as they were handing the Lombardi Trophy to that bag of dongs. What the hell was the coach's name for the Raiders?
John Gruden.
Yes.
Yeah.
I slept through the whole damn thing.
No.
You know Rich Gannon, don't you, Randy?
I certainly do, yes.
I loved him as a quarterback. I did. I thought he deserved a better fate.
I also think he was a very underrated TV NFL analyst.
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job for CBS. Yeah, very, very good.
You know what I liked about him when he was an analyst, Randy? And what I don't like about a lot of analysts, that's one of the reasons I don't watch a lot of professional sports, because there's a lot of average football players that became analysts that think they're experts on I hate that. I hate ex-quarterbacks and Gannon.
I hate
ex-quarterbacks that were not great. Let me finish that. That were not great.
Sure.
You don't have no jacket. You don't have no chip. So you don't get to judge a guy that has a chip. Definitely going to go into the Hall of Fame. And Rich Gannon was perfect. He always said the right things about quarterbacks.
He didn't try
never
to make
made himself to be better than they were. And some of these guys always think like they know. Like, no, come on, man. That's a hard job, and you know it.
I get it.
So don't trash them. And that's the one thing that I hate is when they get over analytical.
I would say my description of Rich Gannon is that he was a gentleman broadcaster.
Right.
Exactly. He was. I mean, he all of his words were carefully decided on. He wasn't there to try to make himself the story or to trash someone, because that's what analysts supposedly are supposed to do. Mm-hmm. He was there just to kind of break down the game, and he would be critical. He could be critical, but he was always, I guess, a constructive criticism in a lot of ways. So,
and that's why I always call him the young Pat Summerall.
Yeah. I think that's a great description.
Is he still calling ball games or not?
I don't know if he's still working for CBS anymore. I think he's doing radio stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know if he is on a weekly basis out there doing games.
So, C. Willi Myles, were you aware of the fact that Philadelphia burned to the ground shortly after the game was over?
If they win anything, they burn their whole city down.
If they lose anything, they burn the city to the ground, too.
They could win at bingo, and they'll just burn the whole city down, man. It's insane.
Now, someone, as they all rushed onto the city streets to kill each other and burn everything down.
In celebration
of their favorite football team winning a game.
Any city would do that.
Someone brought a Kermit the Frog doll out to the street party, and then they lit it on fire.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, that's kind of legit, though.
Yeah.
The Kermit the Frog comparison.
I mean,
I saw the video, and I mean, I love Kermit the Frog. I got to admit, it kind of hurt me a little.
Right.
To watch.
Poor Kermit.
I don't want to watch Kermit die
what did
slowly.
Kermit have to do with it? Right.
He was.
He didn't deserve that.
Well, he probably did the evil.
He knows what he
Kermit.
did.
Yeah, he's kind of mean to Miss Piggy.
You know what? Yeah.
He was not mean to Miss Piggy. She sexually harassed the man for a decade.
Yeah, but at some point you have to accept it, and he never did. That's disrespectful.
He should have just given her what she wanted.
You can't just have her throwing herself at him, and he just keep turning her down, and and saying things under his breath. That wasn't cool.
Well, I don't know. We're not going to see eye to eye on this.
No, we're not.
Kermit just took so much heat from that lady, for Christ's sake. He's trying to work. Trying to put on a show, and she's just rubbing up on him at all times.
He needs the heart of Charlie Brown. And Charlie Brown knew Lucy wasn't going to snap that. He knew, but he went back every year, the same old. You got to put yourself out there, and Kermit never did. He never took one for the team.
He should have been more
He's
firm.
not a team player, that's for sure.
He definitely should have been more firm on setting boundaries.
Yeah. Don't keep showing up and saying no.
I bet he was a big drinker back in the day.
Kermit?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes on that show.
In the 70s and 80s, when they were filming The Muppet Show, I bet he was a big drinker all day long because of the stress of having to put on a show. You have this woman who's relentless in her sexual overtones. There should have been one episode where John Denver and Miss Piggy walk off of screen, because, of course, John Denver was the host 3 times a month. John Denver and Miss Piggy walk off the screen, and Kermit just dumps a flask of hard liquor down his yap and says, I need a vacation.
Hey, my wife just texted me and told me to tell you guys to leave Kermit alone.
Well, yeah.
But I can see her saying, leave Kermit alone. Kermit, he's a good guy, though, man. I've used so many Kermit memes. I love Kermit.
Yeah, well, he's dead now.
He's trash, though, man.
They burned him to death on the streets of Philadelphia. Seattle, Washington.
Kermit died in Philly.
He did. Not where he wanted to die. Died on the streets of friggin' Philadelphia on a cold Sunday night. Yeah.
After a Super Bowl.
Not the way he saw it.
Yeah, we always thought Sesame Street, that's where he died.
Yeah.
No.
Friggin'.
Oh, my God.
It was yesterday when he was pedaling that bike around singing about the Rainbow Connection.
Exactly.
That's an emotional tune.
Now the sumbitch combusted to death.
Down in front of the Philly Museum.
Seattle, Washington, Randy Shaver is absolutely embracing being a part of the National Hockey League. The completely unnecessary Seattle Kraken, their new NHL franchise, draws good crowds.
Yeah.
Youth hockey is booming in town, and the parents of the youth players are acting accordingly. Check this out. A dad out there in Seattle is up against misdemeanor assault charges after shoving 2 referees down to their asses at his son's youth hockey game the other day.
This is up on 93x.com.
He got out onto the ice, and he shoved the referees down onto their cans. Thank you, Ashley, for putting it up on the website. The referees are 12 and 14 years old.
It's a very important part of the story. Very important.
But he had the courage to attack them out of nowhere, completely unprovoked.
Yes, he did.
Kids went down hard, too.
And he didn't like the way they were calling the game. He claimed he had, quote, acted in defense of his son after an altercation on the ice with a player from the opposite team. He said his son was punched and kicked, and the referees did nothing to stop the assault. So that's why he felt the need to take the ice and physically attack the refs. He said he couldn't tell that the refs were kids. Man, I wish this guy would have been a bartender in my neighborhood when I was growing up.
The height difference didn't give it away. The fact that they look like they weigh about 70 pounds.
Right. Didn't know they were kids, is his defense. Of course, you know how tough guys are, Josh. After you shove a couple of kids down onto their asses, he then quickly left the rink. He's not going to stick around for the aftermath, but the cops found him at home or something. Neither of the junior referees were hurt.
Their parents, the refs' parents, should be able to have like 10 minutes alone in a room with this guy.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
A friend of mine, he He's a basketball coach, and they just had a tournament over the weekend. And ahead of time, like the person running the whole tournament emailed parents and said, hey, last time it was out of control. Everybody's got to behave. Otherwise, we're just going to cancel this thing. You got to behave. And so I guess there was one parent kicked out. He tried to punch a ref. Mm-hmm. Again, this is fifth grade basketball, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he missed. That's even more embarrassing. He took a swing at a ref and totally missed.
And
Loser.
He whiffed.
And so they kicked him out.
Wow. People,
yeah,
man,
They've seen it all.
They try to live vicariously through their kids, man, and you just can't do that.
You said you've seen it all, Randy. I'd imagine with your history.
Yeah, I mean, I coached for 17 years of travel basketball, so I've seen quite a bit. To be honest with you, though, I've seen a lot of good stuff too. Yeah. I've seen a lot of really good parents, really good coaches, excellent referees, people who are in all of that for the right reasons. I think sometimes we talk about only the negative things, but to be honest with you, most tournaments, most events like that go off pretty well, and everybody, I mean, I think sometimes we give the impression that every tournament's got bad people. It doesn't. But there are a few.
Yeah.
There's no doubt.
But the problem is the bad ones really overshadow.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah,
I know.
Because they're really bad.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
and that's
you're
the
right.
thing.
The bad people are really bad.
Right. And the good
You're right.
people sit there and they just
But-
it's like, come on, man. Like, let
But
these
I will-
kids have fun.
I will say this. I think we're seeing less of that. I don't think we're seeing as much of it as we used to.
Maybe
And
it's improving.
I've noticed other parents policing the parents that are getting out of control a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, I would say it's getting better. I know from, again, I'll use high school football as an example in Minnesota. Yes, there's still some things out there that, are troubling, but it's way less. It's way, the concern level is always going to be there, but the actual issues are less than what we've seen in the past. And I think people are getting it now that, if you don't act the right way, there's going to come a time where there's not enough referees to even have games, period. Right. So I think we're getting to a better place. I hope we're getting to a better place.
I've also noticed people stopping themselves. That
Yes.
seems different, where they'll start to say something, kind of cover their mouth like, oh, geez, I probably shouldn't be doing this.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll tell you, when I was working at the ice rink driving the Zamboni, my favorite thing in the whole world was shutting down the parents when they started to get uppity. I loved to tell them to shut up and get out of my face and go back up to the bleachers and this and that. And my coworker, he liked to shut down the kids. So we had this perfect kind of authority team in place. I went after the parents. My coworker went after the kids. He'd walk up to little kids and be like, "No chewing gum in the arena." Just scare the hell out of them. We had a great time. The kids like, Christ. Before we let Randy Shaver go, there'll be more with C Willi Myles. You're sticking around, right, C Willi?
Yes, sir.
You're a good man. You don't want to go outside.
No, not at all.
Every year on this date, I'm sure I say the same damn thing, or damn near the same damn thing every year, but it means that much to me, and I want younger folks to know how historic it was. On this date in 1990, Buster Douglas scored one of the biggest upsets in sports history. I get aggravated when articles call it one of the biggest upsets in just boxing history. This is bigger than just boxing when he beat Mike Tyson's ass in Japan.
It appears that Tyson is virtually a one-eyed fighter at this point.
A desperate one-eyed fighter.
Oh, the uppercut.
What an uppercut by Douglas, and down goes Tyson.
It's over. It's over.
Mike Tyson has been knocked out.
Unbelievable.
I'll say it again, I know I get repetitive. But other than the Miracle on Ice, that was the most incredible sports event I ever watched not in person, how do you say it, live.
Mm-hmm.
And were there any two better boxing analysts than Jim Lampley and Larry Merchant?
Well, no, but they didn't have a very good call right there. I mean,
no, but they were so good. The two of them, though.
There's another call of that fight, and I don't know who was the announcer, where it's much more dramatic. But yes, Jim Lampley and
Larry Merchant.
What about the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco?
Ferdy Pacheco, yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah, young people, look that up if you don't know what you're talking about. If you only know Mike Tyson as this silly pothead who, whatever he does these days, look that up because that was a miracle.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere.
Oh,
I think it shocked Buster Douglas more than anybody.
It might have.
Wait, I did what?
He didn't go in there to win. He just went in there not to get knocked completely out and wind up landing that uppercut, and it was just perfect.
And Mike was such a hateable character. I hated Mike Tyson back then.
Oh, yeah.
It was a beautiful thing. All right, Randy, we'll talk to you tomorrow, son.
Sounds good.
You've done wonderful things. More with C Willi Myles when we come back.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
They got their heads up their ass.
On 93X.
Dana here to tell you all about my new friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. You see, I've been doing apartment living ever since my parents kicked me out back in the day, but now I'm back living in a house. I'm absolutely clueless when it comes to any project. That's where Standard comes into play. They cranked on my furnace to get it really cooking for another cold winter. And think about this. Standard's been doing this for over 95 years. That means at one point, they made sure your great-grandpappy was all nice and warm in his butt-flap jammies. So get in touch with the folks at standardheating.com and make sure you ask about becoming a Smart Club member. That's standardheating.com.
The Mic Drop, hosted by former Navy SEAL Mike Ridlin. It's raw.
Any single time that you left the wire, you could lose 4 guys.
It's unfiltered.
That was the most horrible screaming I'd ever heard. Taking a hit on the chin, you want to pay it back?
It's tough talk from the top minds in their field.
Would I choose to not do our duty as military fighting men? No, I would not make that decision, without question.
The Mic Drop. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
Put the candle back.
On 93X.
C Willi Myles is in studio with the Half-Assed Morning Show. Thanks, everyone, for dialing us up, and thanks to C Willi for coming on in. Look at you over there. What the hell was that?
Yeah, that scared me.
Was that a whoop whoop?
Did it again.
I was today years old when I found out that Ashley will pick out the regular peanuts from a bag of mixed nuts and then only eat the almonds. What's the problem over there, Ashley?
It was weird.
She has weird eating habits.
I don't like them as much as I like the almonds.
Why wouldn't you eat both, though?
I don't know. They just don't hit the same.
See, we have company now. C Willi Myles was he was watching you pick out all the peanuts and only eat the almonds, and now he thinks you're mental.
I got really concerned, and I'm sitting there looking at her. She's mixing Coke and Mountain Dew.
No, the Mountain Dew is from last week. I just haven't thrown it away yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm concerned. There's a lot going on to my left.
Oh my! As I was saying, I mean, cashews are the superior nut, but
absolutely,
I love peanuts. You can't discard them.
Nah, I'm not a huge fan.
What about peanut butter? I eat it every day.
Oh, I love peanut butter, but I like smooth peanut butter.
What about pistachios?
Oh, don't get me started on
That's
those.
not a nut.
She'll go through pistachios.
Everybody's got their thing, Smashly. Now, normally I would never begin a sentence with, I was today years old, because I'm not an 8th grader or a social media dork, but it was a good way to begin a conversation on the phrases that annoy us. I'll get this correct. I swear to God I will. The phrases that annoy us airtime.
I like that one the first couple times I heard it. And
you
then
did?
It just became overwhelming.
They all become over friggin' whelming. Those trendy little effing sayings. Oh, they wear on me quicker than most folks. I was today years old. Yeah. Once or twice tops is all I could handle.
Right.
It's hard to get away from them, though.
Yeah, the first time I was like, oh, I get it. You just learned that today.
You thought it was adorable at
first. I did at first.
Right.
I bet you C Willi Myles has never said, I was today years old.
Never. No. I've heard it a gazillion times. I've never used it. The phrase I hate the worst.
Yeah. Let's see if it makes our list.
Let's
see if it tracks.
I'm watching the time.
Don't do it,
Dan. Make sure that my wife is at work. She listens when she drives into her office. Well, I hate it when people say to make a long story short. Just make it short. Don't tell me you're going to make, because then it just gets longer. You said something that you didn't need to say.
Unnecessary verbiage right there. We could have been out of here a lot quicker.
Absolutely.
If he just would have told the story without the warning.
Exactly.
Hold on, let me look at my phone. Okay, my wife's at work.
Okay.
She'll do this too, where like she'll say, okay, I don't really have a lot of time, so whatever you need to say, you just get it out because I got to get off the phone here in a couple seconds. And I could have gotten it off. I could have said everything in that amount of time she set that up.
She ramped up too long. It's like, well, now you got to go. You used up the 2 seconds you allowed me.
So here we go. Here are the phrases that annoy folks every time. You feel free to text them in. What is the number here again? 651-989-9393. What happened, C Willi Myles?
His wife caught him talking about him.
She just texted me, said, I'm still listening.
Are you in trouble now?
Yes, I am. Help!
Honey, to make a long story short. This is what happened.
I didn't mean you.
I was today years old, leads off this report on the phrases that annoy us. Now, you're going to have to help me with some of this stuff. Next on the list is the word this in place of saying that you agree. I have not heard that yet.
Yeah.
It's a social media thing.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Well, I'm sure a lot of this stuff is social media, but usually it spreads out to regular conversation like I was today years old. Yeah. So, Josh, if I said, I really love the band Mr. Big live in concert, you would say this?
I would, let's say you tweeted that. I would retweet it and just write this. Oh, so exclamation.
Yeah, that one hasn't really bled into conversation yet. I would say a similar saying would be if someone said that part.
Right.
So
I haven't heard that one.
This is better off being printed on text messages or on social media than...
Yes. That's how I've seen it. Like somebody will send me a screenshot of something and write this.
I didn't think I was going to get bothered by this, by this list, but all it took is we got to the third one and I'm bothered because I'm reminded how effing burned out I am on this next phrase. Well played.
I haven't heard that in a while.
There was a couple people here that would say that quite often.
Well played. Look, I don't need... You see, the reason why it bothers me, it's almost... Maybe this is too grand of a word, but it's almost too demoralizing, as if I needed the approval of that person. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you needed the reassurance.
Yes, I have a friend, and I'm going to choke him out when he comes back to town. Because throughout any conversation, this is what he says when you say something he agrees with. Correct. 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 You're not my friggin' teacher. You don't need to tell me that I am correct. Am I going too far here, Cubby? That is annoying to me because it's almost as if he's making himself out to be a cut above me, and he's assuring me that I'm not saying something incorrect. I know I'm not saying something. I don't need you to...
Yeah, because he already knows, and you're catching up to him at this point.
Right. That's a better way to put it.
Yeah,
and you sounded like less of a madman when you said it.
Correct.
Yes.
Hello, fella Jeebus says he hates the "it's giving" thing. Just make a sentence. What's that?
It's
giving?
I've never heard that one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? It's like all over Twitter, I guess.
What is that? How do you use that?
Say it's a picture of a girl in like a really nice outfit. Someone will repost it and be like, it's giving, and it means, I don't know, like it's, you can put it together in your head, like it's giving stylish, it's giving, oh, that's hot.
Oh, sure.
I can't follow that at all.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I don't think I've heard this one before. Next on the annoying phrases report card here. I love that for you. I love that for you.
I use that one.
My fiance gives me that one a lot. When I'm talking about something I'm very excited about that she could not possibly care less, she's like, oh, well, I love that for you.
Okay.
Being sarcastic?
Yeah, a little bit.
Gotcha.
Now, I watch an adult movie now and again. I know what POV stands for in an adult movie, but here, apparently, there's a phrase going around where you say POV.
Yeah, I haven't heard that, but for a while, my youngest and his buddies would say that a lot.
I hear that quite a bit, and it's never used correctly, so that's why it pisses people off.
So is that another way for me to agree with you? If I say POV, does that mean I agree with your point of view?
No.
Well, then why do people say POV?
I don't think anybody says it. I mean, I've never heard somebody say it out loud in a conversation. I've only seen people use it with, like, every video they post, and it'll be POV, but then it's, like, the camera looking at them. It's not from their actual point of view. It doesn't make any sense.
When you've heard the kids say it, Josh, what are they talking about?
They were kind of explaining their view on something.
Oh, here's my POV.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they wouldn't even set it up that way. They'd just say POV.
Another one I'm totally lost on. Tell me you blank without telling me you blank. What in God's name are we talking about here?
Tell me you suck without telling me you suck.
Yeah.
Tell me you suck without I don't understand.
Kind of that
You make
vibe.
a stupid phrase, like you say something like
Mr. Big is a terrible rock band. That's something stupid I could say.
Right. You say, yeah, tell me you don't know anything about music without telling me you don't know anything about music.
Or something like, let's say you see a dude holding a beer passed out on the bar.
Yeah.
Tell me you're drunk without telling me you're drunk.
Right.
Jesus, this is so confusing.
You'll get there.
I don't understand.
As you said, you'll get there.
Yeah, you're not very fluent when it comes to internet, Nick.
Well, yeah, but
he's not going to get there.
Again,
He's probably not.
again, the article leads me to believe that these phrases are used in conversation as well.
Some of them are, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm done with this one, and I have been for a long time. Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah, that one's gross by now.
Get rid of
Overused.
that one. Now, I'm guilty of the next on the list. I do finish a lot of sentences with, you know what I mean. I do.
Yeah.
I don't know why I seek that confirmation, but I do.
Nowhere near. I've got a friend who says it at the end of nearly every sentence. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, I can tell you honestly that the reason why I say you know what I mean over and over again is because I'm not entirely certain that I'm being clear.
Sometimes I'll say, just because of an interview we had many, many years ago, I'll say, you follow me there?
Yeah.
There was a guy that said that constantly, so now I use that sometimes.
When I read some of the stupid news stories on this program, some of them are so odd and confusing that I do want to be sure that you know what I'm saying or know what I mean.
Retired Air Force Jesus, this is a good one. When people say no offense, or to be honest with you.
Yeah, because they totally mean offense.
I've had to tell, I'll tell you what, I've had to tell a young person in my life once that, that doesn't give you carte blanche to say whatever you want about somebody.
Right.
Because they didn't get it. They're like, well, no, I said no offense. You're an idiot. I hate you, and nobody likes you.
Right.
Why would you take offense to that?
I always hated just kidding, too. It's like you weren't kidding. You totally meant that.
Well, after saying something rude?
Yeah.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I love using those in like a smart ass way. That's more fun.
Here's one that I am familiar with. This is an old phrase. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Now, whoever added it to this report says that highly underestimates the stupidity of the population. Sometimes there is such a thing as a stupid question.
True.
I did a thing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Not familiar with that. Or all of the things.
Yeah, I've seen those printed. I have not heard somebody say it.
Words like hubby, wifey, preggers.
Oh, that's bad.
Doggo.
I hate that one, too.
Fur baby. Nope.
Hubby and wifey has been around forever, though. That's That's like a classic. Like I have a girlfriend, and we've always called each other like wifey for lifey, and it's supposed to be cringy and annoying.
Yeah,
it works.
Yeah, I never use it. I never call my wife wifey. My wife has been my ride or die. That's what I call my wife.
Ride or
I
die.
love that.
Ride or die. She's been a ride or die forever.
Kiddo pisses me off, and I don't know why.
I use kiddo quite a bit.
kiddo pisses me off. I got a couple of kiddos. I don't know why, but I get the sweats right away. I want to slap them.
Like I don't use the word kiddos. Like young kids, now you just call them crumb snatchers.
A lot of people texting in on it is what it is.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You don't want to say it, but sometimes you find yourself trapped, and that's the only solution you can come up with. But I understand the burnout on it is what it is.
That's so true, Nick.
Yeah, you just kind of find yourself trapped. You want to wrap up whatever it is you're saying, and you can't think of anything better.
I've used that a lot during like political conversations that I don't want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Oh, like all of them?
It is what it is. Huh?
You want to. Sometimes, yeah, it's just an escape.
A buddy of mine, it enrages him when people say that, and he says the same thing every time. Well said, like sarcastically to be a jerk. Anytime somebody brings that up.
Crumb snatchers. You know what my dad called us when we were little kids? Pot lickers.
Pot lickers.
Get out of here, you little pot lickers.
Same energy.
Oh, man.
Half-assed morning show.
Work with me now. It's all in the head. Yeah.
On 93X.
All right, we're rolling through. We are rolling through the annoying. A lot of them are teenage social media type phrases that piss us right the hell off. And right now, phrases that people have had enough of. And I dig this. Our listeners are getting their aggressions out on this topic on the text machine. It's hilarious.
There's some really good ones.
C Willi Myles hanging out with us this morning. Let's see what you make of this. C Willi Myles. Okay.
Bring it.
Living the dream.
Yeah. That's old.
tired.
That's old.
Living the dream.
It's very common when I worked in the restaurant industry.
Soul Slayer Jesus said when he hears someone say living the dream, it's like getting his balls stuck between two fence posts.
Hey.
You been there?
True story.
Balls caught between.
It's like living a dream. It's like nightmares or dreams, too.
Yep. Beer and Pizza Jesus said, I know, right? That one bothers her husband to the core. Quite a few people text in, I know, right?
That became such a thing. It probably still is. And yes, it just galls me. Full stop.
Full stop.
Full stop and full send. Annoying.
I've never heard full send.
No, me
Oh,
neither.
really?
Yeah, what is that? What are we doing with full send?
It's when you really go for something.
Yep. And we're all supposed to be.
100%.
I'm all in.
I have a friend who starts almost every sentence with, I'm not going to lie.
100% Waffle.
100% you lying.
That's a good one. I sometimes edit people's podcasts, right? And there's one particular guy who he and his guests say that all the time. It's honestly, if I should get paid per 100% removal.
Right.
All right, now some listeners really got elaborate here, and I appreciate it very much. This listener says, people need to stop reacting to 069 during bingo.
Never.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
Nobody reacts to it anymore at like the last, probably 50 bingos I've been at. And
we're going to different bingo halls.
Oh, no, I'm
there's
the only
always
one.
somebody
It's me.
who has to woo or dinner for two or whatever the F
They
people
start
say.
clapping, too.
Stop it. I agree 100%.
I
like all that stuff.
I was at a fancy event where people were cheering the 69.
Josh, it's been a minute.
Oh, sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's fire.
What about this one from Rompin' Stompin' Tiger Piss Jesus? Appreciate you. I hear that all the time now.
That's become a big one.
Yeah.
And I think athletes started that.
Yes.
Anytime they're finishing up some sort of interview on the sideline or court or whatever.
Phrases we're tired of. All you got to do is hear it once and you're furious. Baby mama or baby daddy.
Isn't that what they are?
Yeah,
guess
but
you
folks
phrase
are.
it differently.
I mean, you could say mother or father, mom or dad.
Rinse.
I get it. I mean, don't be offended, Ashley, if you're a baby mama or a baby daddy type of a person. Because I say it too, because it's just so easy.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they're not together, because then you're like, that's the mother of their child. It's just easy being like, oh, that's his baby mama.
I understand. Everyone falls into these once in a while.
Just has a negative connotation to it.
It definitely does, yeah.
The real Al Bundy Jesus said he doesn't like you do you. That's a good one.
Do you?
That is really good.
Sure.
Sometimes people can deliver that perfectly, though.
But a lot of times they're being passive aggressive.
Yeah, I like that.
A listener texted in to say, I have a coworker that worked out west in the oil fields, and he always has to start a conversation with, you know, when I was out west, it makes me want to strangle him. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Did we cover that one yet?
No, not yet.
That's a lot of them, man.
That one's been around for a while, too.
Another listener says, my brother says right after anything that anyone says, and it drives me nuts.
That's a right with an explanation point.
Doesn't matter what you say, right?
Oh, those filler words.
Right.
The worst.
Rusty accountant Jesus doesn't like Ben Real. Hey, it's Ben Real.
I forgot about that one.
Haven't heard that in a while either.
Yeah.
Correctional nurse sheezes. When people say verse instead of verses. Tonight's game, Pigs versus Blues. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
If we're going to go on a sports tangent here, I go crazy when someone mentions the losing team's score above the winning team's score. Did you go to the game last night?
Hi, Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley's done that before.
Oh, sorry. God. Sorry that you can't use your brain to figure it out.
Are you sorry but not sorry, Ashley?
The Vikings lost 17-42. That's not how you do it. When I was a kid, there was a kid in my neighborhood who I wanted to choke out because when he would talk about sports, he'd say, boy, the Twins play the Brewers tonight. Who you voting for?
Oh, I hate that.
We're not voting for anything. We're rooting. You don't vote when watching a...
What about living my best life? How do you feel about that one?
It's douchey is what it is.
Yeah.
Hard pass?
Hard pass.
Also a lot of my bads coming in.
You've had a hard pass or two in the last few years, if you know what I'm saying, Josh.
You were 100% correct.
And so have I. That's a constipation joke. Yes, Ashley.
I've always liked the abbreviation of my bat, like my B.
Yeah,
I
say that one all the time.
I don't know my B, and please don't say it around me. Please.
Oh, I don't think I do. I try to clean up the way I talk normally around you, Nick.
Because you're a nice young person. You're a nice young person.
I love this one. S-ton. For some reason, I like it when people throw that.
Oh, I love a load or a shit ton.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Finally, did we cover this one yet? A lot of people claim that things are life-changing.
Gross.
Have you tried Nutella on a bagel? It's life-changing.
No, it
Shut up, you.
How about this? Because this is also used condescendingly at times. I see what you did there.
Oh, no, I don't like that one.
You made a funny. How about made a funny? That's another one.
So now I'm starting to run hot. See, I'm starting to get hot under the collar because those piss me off. Oh,
I get it, man.
Yeah, you get it. See Willi Myles.
I don't like a lot of them either, man. It's just you. But wherever I'm at, because I tour all the time, and I hear all of them, every single. I come off the stage and it's like, wow, that was interesting.
You had a whole conversation with people, and 70% of it was catchy phrases. Yes,
catchphrases.
Yeah. I have a very low tolerance for such a thing. I do.
When they tell me, like some of the young people come, oh man, your show was lit. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I don't like lit anymore.
From Gilf Sheezus, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Hey.
That one wore itself out almost immediately.
Yeah.
I quit. I go back to the old school stuff, man, that my dad and them used to say, not my lesson to learn, or, when you do stupid stuff, or, not my monkey to carry.
Not my pig, not my farm.
Right, exactly.
You know what? Now that we're talking about phrases, we just talked about this one a few days ago, and I know it's nothing new, but I really do, and this will be the second time I think I established this in a week, I really like sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck.
When you say, I got a D-dub last night or something, and your buddy goes, sucks to suck. I'm going to continue with that one if it's okay with everybody.
Those are old school, man. I like the old school sayings better. Like right now on Twitter, not on Twitter, I think on TikTok, it's the FAFO going around now. Back in the day,
Yes, I love that.
And because we said that back, I remember back in the 70s.
What's FAFO?
F around and find out.
Oh, yeah, that one still is kind of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
That's way back from the 70s.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. We were saying that back in the hood.
Yeah.
Back in the projects, man. Like
F
people,
around
you'd be going there, you keep going over there, you're gonna F around and find out why you ain't supposed to go that way.
I agree with this one. Life hack. People use it way too much.
Get rid of that crap because
it's not one.
It's someone trying to tell you how they've got a better way of doing things. Sometimes I don't want a better way. I don't want an easier way. I want my friggin' way.
I want it the hard way. I want to earn it.
Take your life hack and shove it up your wazoo, for God's sake.
Bouncer Jesus said, just Joshin makes me mad because he's a Josh. He doesn't like that one. I've heard that my whole life.
Jiminy
I'm
Chris.
just Josh.
How many of you guys use the my wife even started using this now too, 10 toes down, when you agree with somebody.
No.
I've never heard.
Oh, I love that.
It's never come out of my yapper.
Oh, that's a new one to me.
Yeah, my wife and I, we use that quite a bit because if I agree with her about something, I say, look, baby, we 10 toes down with this.
You're standing together on the subject.
Exactly. 10 toes down. But that's what we used to do back in the hood days when there was a fight and you would tell your buddy, I'm 10 toes down with you, host.
Okay.
Ride or die, those were our words back in the day.
I have to admit that it's frustrating, but it also is kind of fun to learn some of these. Some of them I instantly want to start strangling people, but some of it is kind of fun to learn.
I'm
what
tired
did you
of
do
low-key.
Low-key, throw that in the
My
garbage.
son and his friends say that all the time about everything, and it makes no sense.
Well, what was it like in your neighborhood when fights would start, Josh? Were you 10 toes down with your bros?
No, I was usually 10 toes up, passed out, on my back.
I use low-key every once in a while. That's a word that's one I use, but I use it in a sentence like, I think he was kind of low-key.
But you're using it correctly.
Saying something smart, you know what I mean? Like,
sure, but there's a different way to do it now.
Right.
I don't know what it is,
I don't like being.
Yeah, they'll be like, these Cheez-Its, those are low-key great. Or I'm going to low-key answer the front door. And they use it all the time in weird places.
It's like nothing about that is low-key.
Yeah, I don't understand.
We got to get the hell out of here.
All right.
That's an old saying. We got to get the hell out of here. Nothing
bounce.
cutesy about it and use anything from social media there. Just we have to get the hell.
Yeah.
Thank you, C Willi Myles.
Well, thanks for having me, gentlemen and ladies, and all of you guys. I always love stopping in when I'm back in town.
Well, you're always welcome. Yeah,
appreciate it.
Love hearing that you're coming in. I was today years old when I learned it was Alexandria Bullfrog Jesus and Heather's 13th anniversary. 13 years.
There they go.
Tell me you still love each other without telling me you still love each other. Now, congratulations, guys. I love that for you. You know what I mean?
He's hitting them all. Right?
Wow.
He's hitting them all.
Bang, bang.
Yeah, I did a thing, guys.
Right.
But you didn't have that on your 2025 bingo card.
Oh, dude.
Happy birthday to Katie Jane, a.k.a. Tootie Butt. Turning the big 02 today from Dad, Freckles shouldn't smudge Jesus, and I promise I will hand in my letter of resignation immediately when the mics go off.
93X.
Hey, podcast listeners. Dana here. Can I let you guys in on a little secret? Just between us? We like all of you much, much more than the folks that listen live. But no matter how, when, or where you check out the Hams podcast, we got to give thanks to our friends at Standard Heating for making it all possible. It's been a pretty tame winter so far, but we know well enough that we're not out of the woods yet. So hit up standardheating.com to get them out to your house to make sure your furnace is tuned up to do all of the furnace-y types of things it's supposed to do. I'm still learning the lingo. Make that appointment today. Become a Smart Club member like me. That's standardheating.com.